And a very pleasant good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Bethany, Oklahoma, and Southern Nazarene Football Stadium for today's action between the Southern Nazarene Crimson Storm and the Henderson State Reddies. Both teams come into today's matchup 1-3 overall, 1-3 in Great American Conference play. SNU, of course, coming off a tough road loss last week at Arkansas Tech, 24-10. And the Crimson Storm led throughout the game and just let the lead slip away in the second half as the offense was unable to move the football against the Wonder Boys. Arkansas Tech closed within 10-7 at the end of the third quarter, but controlled the fourth quarter completely for the 24-10 win. Henderson State coming off a last-minute loss to Southwestern Oklahoma State last week, 35-31. And joining me in the booth today is none other than former SNU football player Landry Frakes. Landry, it's good to be with you today.
Yeah, it's good to be here. I'm excited to get to see some SNU football again.
So Landry, your family has kind of a bit of an illustrious history with SNU football. Take us through that a little bit.
Yeah, well, none of the history comes from me. I think, Luke, you looked up my statistical numbers, and they weren't that great. 2 catches for 25 yards is not an illustrious career, but I had 2 older brothers who played 4 years, one who started all 4 years and was an All-American, and they're the ones who deserve the credit to the Franks name. I was just a warm body and some shoulder pads. In fact, I was a tight end, and I was number 91, so that should tell you just about everything you need to know about my football career.
Yeah, former defensive end Clayton Franks, Landry's oldest brother, second on the SNU all-time leading sack list with 18, and does hold the single season record in 2005 with 10.5 sacks that year. So Landry, let's get into the matchup today, the Crimson Storm and the Reddies. Let's first go through the SNU offense, which has been a bit of a struggle this year. In their one win against East Central, 389 yards of offense, but in the 3 losses combined, 337 yards. Landry, what do you think's been the biggest struggle for them?
Yeah, they run an offense that is run heavy, and the good thing about a run heavy offense is that when it gets going, it's really hard to stop. It can wear defenses down, and over a long period of a game, you can control possession. You can control what the defense does. But if you're not running the ball and you're punting a lot, then it can be tough to get things going. So I hope today that they can get that run game going solid, so that they're wearing that other defense down and giving their defense a couple breaks throughout the game. Yeah,
and things will be more difficult today for Southern Nazarene after the loss of senior wide receiver Reese Carlson, who suffered a knee injury last week against Arkansas Tech. A season ender, a career ender for him, and so very unfortunate there. And we do have a little bit of shuffling along the offensive line. As far as the starting lineup goes, sophomore Joey Carrion will be at center now, replacing Hunter Jones, who slides over to right guard as the starter there. So a little bit of mix-up on the offensive line, and I know the emphasis in practice this week has been on the offense and trying to restore some confidence there and to lift their spirits a little bit. Just to highlight some of the struggles that SNU has had, SNU ranks 11th in the conference with 61.7 passing yards per game. They're last in scoring offense, 15 points a game, and also last in total offense, just shy of 210 yards per game. So, Landry, what do you think is the key for SNU to get off to a fast start offensively today?
Yeah, you got to control first and third down. I think that on a run-heavy offense, first downs have to be a big chunk play. And if you have a big chunk play on first down, then it opens your offense on second and third down to choose what you want to do instead of having to be forced into a certain number of plays because of the down and distance. So I think offensively they have to control first and then third down. They've got to convert third downs and keep their offense on the field and the opposing defense on the field longer so their defense can get a break.
And something we saw last week against Arkansas Tech was a little bit of quarterback switching going on. Jacob Spady played some, as did Gage Porter. It was pretty much an equal rotation between those two. Didn't necessarily seem like a one series, or two series each, but it definitely was a pretty equal split. What does that do for the offense when you're rotating different guys in, guys who have kind of different skill sets?
Yeah, absolutely. I think. Well, one, with the nature of the offense, the quarterback runs a lot. So you have to sometimes treat him like a running back. That's going to get worn down throughout the process of a game. If they're getting 10 to 15 carries or more sometimes, then rotation is not the worst thing in the world. I think it can do a couple things. One, it can positively affect because you're getting a fresh guy in there who's ready to go. And then the flip side would be that the replacement wouldn't have the leadership ability or would be kind of out of the same zone that the previous quarterback was in.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And, let's go ahead and cross the line of scrimmage and look at the SNU defense, which has been the key for SNU so far this season. Certainly the bright spot. Just to highlight some of the things, SNU does lead the country in passing defense, giving up just 89 yards per game, and they will be tested in a big way. Total defense, 5th in the conference, about 340 yards per game, and scoring defense, although they are giving up 32 points a game, that is good for right in the middle of the pack there at 6th in the conference. And with this 3-4 lineup and all the speed in the secondary, what does that allow the Crimson Storm to do defensively that's given them success this year?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, the 3-4 is designed to stretch plays to the sideline. And if you have a great secondary who can tackle well, which SNU does, who can fly to the ball, you want those outside linebackers in particular to help stretch your run plays from Henderson to the sideline. As long as they can go. One, it wears out Henderson's offense, but it also helps your defense fly to the ball and get help with some of your premier athletes. I think, too, they're going to have to make Henderson pass the ball this game. If their pass defense is really that good, then I would expect to see them filling the box and making Henderson try to beat their best playmakers on the outside.
And let's go ahead and talk about the Reddy's offense, which is predicated on a fantastic passing game, which ranks 14th in the country. They average just over 305 yards per game, and they're very efficient in the red zone as well. Number 1 in the conference, converting 87.5% of their scoring opportunities in the red zone. But on the flip side, not as great on the run, just under 100 yards per game at 94 yards per game, dead last in the conference. So what's the challenge for SNU with that, with having such a prolific passing attack, but not as much a threat in the run game?
Yeah, absolutely. We saw in the last game, Henderson was trying to get the ball out of the quarterback's hand and into the wide receiver's hands quickly, so they ran a lot of quick outs. They ran a lot of shoot routes, but they also did some double moves, which really hurt SWASU at the beginning of the game. And so for SNU, if they are going to crowd the box, which they may, then it's being disciplined. They've got to be disciplined with their outside linebackers. Their corners have to be disciplined, and their safeties have to come up and make plays when they're available. They got to rally to the ball even on those quick outs and treat those almost as runs and prevent those quick first downs or good starts on first down.
Henderson State with a trio of wide receivers that can really stretch the field. Ben Johnson, John Murray, and Chase Lodre, all over 20 catches this season, multiple touchdowns amongst each of them. What does that do for the SNU defense when you have to account for multiple guys at different positions, both outside and in the slot, that are so dangerous?
Yeah, you know, for defensive coordinators, I'm sure SNU is saying this all week in practice, is that you have to lock in, you know, and if they have three really great athletes, you can't fall asleep on one of them. You have to stay locked into each individual one. So that means no busted assignments, means being disciplined in the secondary, but also with those outside linebackers, they like to get hands-on on those releases, so they need to make sure they're rerouting and making those wide receivers' routes tougher than just a free release.
Absolutely. And on the flip side, the Henderson State defense, not the same story of success so far for the Reddies this season. As far as conference standing goes, they rank 9th or worse in every statistical category. Rush defense, 9th, giving up almost 200 yards per game. Passing defense, also 9th, about 265 yards per game. And then in total defense, almost 462 yards per game. That's good for 11th, and then 34 points a game. So if there's ever an opportunity for SNU's offense to kind of have a get-well game, this is today.
Right, right. Absolutely. And this is the kind of game that if you're a run-heavy offense that you dream for, because you want something. You need momentum to keep you going. And I think this Henderson defense, although they have some bright spots, they seem a little undisciplined on their outside linebackers, and that can lead to some big holes and hopefully some big runs for the Crimson Storm.
For sure, and Henderson State with that 3-3-5 defense, running a nickel out there as well as an outside linebacker. What sort of opportunities does that schematically provide SNU to kind of take advantage of potentially?
Yeah, you know, you have smaller guys, and SNU likes to load the box. And so if Henderson wants to load the box, they're going to have to load the box with guys who aren't as big as a tackle or a tight end or even some of our wide receivers, which creates a mismatch for the Crimson Storm and the opportunity to create some big holes and big running lanes. And then also, too, if they do have to sub in bigger guys, that means that all the motioning and all the switching they do with wide receivers can benefit them because they've got guys who can't keep up with maybe a quick slot receiver, which I think will help the Crimson Storm.
Something else to keep in mind as far as the success of SNU's ground game, the past few weeks they have faced some tremendous size along the the defensive line for both Harding and for Arkansas Tech. And this week, not as much. The starters up front for Henderson State run 6'1", 245, 6 foot 260, 6 foot 235. So an opportunity here for the SNU offensive line to kind of assert themselves a little bit more than in the past few weeks, just given their size, not necessarily deficiency, but their SNU's offensive line is not going to be misconstrued as one of the bigger ones in the conference or in the country for that matter. So a huge opportunity today for SNU, and really, given the story of SNU's offense so far this season, you have to think if there's an inability to move the ball against this defense, it doesn't really bode well for the rest of the season.
No, definitely not. And, you know, coaches try to preach to their kids that it doesn't matter who's on the other side of the ball than you. You know, you got to think you're the better player. You got to want that. But when you only weigh 250 and you're a guard and you're looking at a guy who's 300 plus, it can be a demoralizing thing. But this week, hopefully get some confidence with some of those guys and open up big holes for the run game. So it should look good.
We're drawing close to kickoff here at Southern Nazarene Football Stadium in Bethany, Oklahoma. We're glad you're along with us. Again, Luke McConnell and Landry Franks here on the call today on a overcast but nice day temperature-wise. Sun looking like it's trying to poke out here. for the rest of the game, a lot better than the steady rain we had 2 weeks ago against Harding. Landry, as we count down to kickoff here, just about a minute before kickoff here on the clock, what are some keys? Give me a key on both sides of the ball for SNU today.
Yeah, defensively, it's disciplined football. Like I mentioned earlier, you know, SNU needs to make sure they don't fall asleep in the secondary. They have great athletes back there. They've got good outside linebackers, but they'll need to make sure they are locked in the entire game. And offensively, ground and pound.
There's the run-up and the boot. We are underway here in Bethany. Kick sails into the end zone where it is taken by number 84, the Reddies, and Henderson State will start at the 25-yard line.
All right, Luke, who is someone you're looking forward to having a big game today for the Crimson Storm defense?
I think it's going to be Josh Jordan, the free safety for SNU. He's made a lot of plays so far this year, and also be interested to see as Trenton Smith getting the start at strong safety. Henderson State comes out with 3 wide to the right. Looking at, so we got Ben Johnson out there for Henderson State, along with John Murray.
They're stacked
and Doug Johnson.
Stacked in the backfield. Look for a quick screen.
There's a snap. Pass out in the flat to Murray, and he is taken down quickly there by number 20, Jaquel Davis for SNU.
It's great pursuit and good rally tackling. That's what you want.
Gain of 3 on the play. It will bring up 2nd and 7 for the Reddies. It's quarterback Richard Stametti, 6'2" junior out of Las Vegas, Nevada. And the shotgun formation there. Cobra Jones in motion, lines up to his right. Stametti rolls, hits Murray again on the sidelines, and brings the ball in for pickup of about 5 on the play, and it will be 3rd and short here for the Reddies. A huge opportunity for the Crimson Storm to generate momentum early.
Yeah, that's just a simple boot out, comeback route. Looking to get a first down right there, but SNU did a good job rallying to the ball and holding him for a 3rd and short.
Prescott Jeffries comes into the game for the Reddies. Lines up on the right side of the formation. Stametti in shotgun, Jones to his right. Murray in motion, and it's a handoff up the middle to Jones. Tackled right at the line to gain, but he falls forward for the first down. Pickup of 3 on the play for Jones, who's getting the start over the starting running back, Logan Moraney. So a quick first down for the Reddies. Stametti again in the shotgun, motions Jones behind him. The give is to Jones, and he's up the middle, and he's taken down from behind by Trayvon Hadley, the true freshman outside linebacker who has had an outstanding season so far for the SNU defense. One of many bright spots for the Crimson Storm on the defensive side of the ball.
Yeah, one thing we saw in film study with Henderson this week is when they switch their running back into pistol, they often like to run a dive right up the middle.
Smetty, quick out, ooh, right into the hands of Trayvon Hadley, who did not get his head around in time to make the interception. But great coverage there from Hadley, leaking out into the flat to cover Doug Johnson.
And that's just a poor read from the quarterback, but great coverage. He's sinking into his curl flat depths. If he just gets his head around, he's running the end zone for 6.
3rd down and 8 for the Reddies. 3 wide to the left, 1 to the right for Henderson State. Smetty takes the snap, drops back to pass, pumps. He's going deep down the sideline. He's got Murray, and it falls incomplete. Terrific coverage on the outside by Dorian Harris. Being physical with the wide receiver, bumped him out of bounds a little bit, and the Reddies will have to punt.
And that's disciplined football. That's the same play they scored on against Tech last week. Just a double move and out and up, and he stayed with his man, and an incomplete pass brings up 4th down.
So the Reddies in punt formation. Angel Esperanza on to kick to Stephen Gordon. And we've got looks like it's going to be a roughing the kicker on SNU, number 29, Bryson Cross. Got in there and took out the punter, and that is going to be a personal foul, roughing the kicker, and that will give Henderson State new life with a 1st down. So a mental mistake early for the Crimson Storm special teams.
You know, Cross did everything but block the kick. Looked like the ball just went right through his arms. Unfortunate for the Crimson Storm, but let's see if this defense can hold him for a 3 down again.
What does this do for you mentally as if you're the SNU defense, having just made a stop and now you're right back out there on the field?
Yeah, it's got to be frustrating. But, you know, the coaches, I'm sure, are telling them to be locked in. And we'll see how they respond on this 1st down. I think they'll bounce back.
So Henderson State, after the 15-yard penalty, will get the ball 1st and 10 at the SNU 47-yard line. 2 wideouts to each side. Cobra Jones to the left of Stameti. Takes the snap. Blitz coming up the middle. It's a screen out to Murray, and he's taken down very quickly after a 1-yard gain.
That's a great read. Just a tunnel screen, and our defensive tackle sneaks right through and makes a play.
Marin Biletich sneaking out there to make the play. Substitutions for the SNU defense is Derek Gillis and Zach Lloyd come off. Ryan Lara and Ethan Spurlock back on the field. Stameti with receiver in motion, flips it to him, and he gets upfield and is taken down quickly by number 23 for SNU, Miles Roll, the inside linebacker and leading tackler for this SNU defense.
And this is what I was talking about when you want Henderson to stretch to out of bounds. And if they can't stretch all the way out of bounds, they have to cut back in, and you have help inside. And that's exactly what happened on this play. Right now, the wide receiver is down for Henderson.
It's number 10, Zach Newbell for Henderson State. He's the one who was on the sweep. We'll take a timeout real quick while he is being attended to by the trainers, and we'll be right back after this injury timeout. Welcome back to SNU Football Stadium. Zach Newbell, the injured, ready on the play, and he is up walking off the field under his own power. Always good to see there.
Yeah. Especially he's holding his knee. You hate to see an injury like that. Looks like he's doing all right.
So we're back to action here with a 3rd and 5 for Henderson State. Cobra Jones again to the right of Stameti. 2 wideouts either side. Stameti with the snap, looking long. He's got his tight end wide receiver on the flag route, and a beautiful catch and a big hit from Dorian Harris. But number 84, Ben Johnson, the senior from Sapulpa, holds on, and just a perfect route and throw there, Landry.
Yeah, absolutely. Johnson with a great corner route. Nothing special, but a great throw and great hands to hold on and take the big hit.
So the big gain on the play moves Henderson State down to the 15-yard line of SNU. 5 wideouts now as Stameti lines up in the shotgun.
You're looking for a jet sweep or something short right here.
Stemeti with the snap. Blitz coming by Hadley, just missed him. Stemeti escapes, and he is taken down by a host of SNU players after a 9-yard pickup. He's down to the 6-yard line. Miles Roll and Dorian Harris in on that tackle.
Yeah, and if you're Hadley right now, you got to be frustrated because that's a 15-yard swing on that play. A 5-yard loss turns into just about a 10-yard gain for Henderson.
Pickup of 9 on the play gives Henderson 2nd and 1 at the 6-yard line. Remember, Henderson State's drive was extended due to a roughing the punter penalty. Stemeti gives to Jones, trying the left side. He has the first down. It will be 1st and goal at the 1-yard line. Taken down on the play by Ethan Spurlock. Angel Hernandez also in on that tackle. So 1st and goal now for Henderson State at the 1-yard line. And backup quarterback Cody Whitaker into the game for this play. He takes the snap, follows the blocking of Jones, and walks into the end zone for the Reddies touchdown.
And what they did on those last 2 plays is they made SNU stay disciplined outside. They put the 3 wide receivers and they ran away from them 2 plays in a row, which stretches the field and gives them an advantage. One person blocking one person is good for the offense generally.
On to kick for the Reddies is Timo Martinez, 6-foot freshman from Darnendale, Arkansas. Snap, hold, kick, and it is up and good. And Henderson State takes a 7-0 lead with 9:54 to go in the first quarter. We'll take a short break and be back with SNU offense on the field. Welcome back. SNU prepares to receive the ball for technically the 2nd time, but the first time with a chance to actually hold on to it after the roughing the punter penalty on 4th down extended the Henderson State drive, and the Reddies took advantage with a touchdown to open the scoring. 1-yard plunge from Cody Whitaker gives the Reddies a 7-0 lead. A little over 5 minutes on that possession as we have 9:54 to go here in the first quarter, and as SNU receives the ball, it'll be interesting to see who comes out first with the leading the offense for the Crimson Storm. It looks like it will be Jacob Spady down there.
Yeah, and if you're the Crimson Storm defense, even though you get scored on, there's a lot of areas that you did really well. They caught a great corner route that you covered really well, and they throw an out route that hits our guy in the back. There's definitely opportunities to play better defense, and we'll see how they respond.
Martinez set to boot this one deep to Stephen Gordon and Jaquale Davis. And it's going to be Gordon at about the 6 along the right sidelines. Runs into a pile of blockers, and he'll be taken down at about the 23-yard line. 17 yards on the return. And it is going to be Jacob Spady coming out with the SNU offense. And again, SNU losing one of their senior leaders in wide receiver Reese Carlson last week to a knee injury. An unfortunate situation on a jet sweep that has ended his SNU career, and now we'll be able to see what the SNU offense does. Roll-offs, Nate Walker, Stephen Gordon, and Devin Brady out there at the skill positions, and Daniel Ramos in the backfield with Spady. Walker in motion. Spady rolling to his right. Quick strike over to roll-offs. Pickup of about 4 on the play, and Landry getting some short completions early, a huge deal for Jacob Spady's confidence.
Absolutely, and to get the offense going, if you need to pass, then you got to get your quarterback's confidence up. That's just a simple play action on the jet sweep, a boot out, and a quick out route, which was wide open for a good chunk on first down.
Walker in motion again. Spady hands it off to Ramos, probing the middle of the Henderson State defense, and he is chopped down after a gain of about 1. Lauren Johnston on the tackle, along with Robert Thomas, look like they're in the middle of the Henderson State defense. Brings up a 3rd and 5.
From the outset, Henderson is doing what we anticipated, is loading the box, running cover 3 in the back end, and saying SNU, if you want to beat us, you got to do it through the air. So hopefully we can get some running lanes or an opportunity for a shot.
Roll off, split out wide to the left. Walker is in the slot left. Gordon comes in motion. Spady fakes the handoff to him, follows blockers up the middle, and he's chopped down after a 2-yard gain, and that is going to bring on the punting unit for SNU. So a quick 3 and out for the SNU offense after a short completion to start things. A no gain from Ramos and then a very short gain from Spady do not yield what's needed for the first down. Brings on Ryan Reed to punt for SNU. Reed boots this one down. It's muffed, and Henderson State falls on it. It's number 36, Colt Conway.
And on that 3rd down play, Luke, it wasn't bad blocking, just a QB power. But the Henderson defensive end, Johnston, makes a great play. He sheds his block and clips the ankles of Spady.
So Henderson State will take over at their own 26-yard line. Again, moving left to right across your screen.
I know it's early in the game, Luke, but this drive already feels pretty important for the Crimson Storm defense. See how they respond after the touchdown.
Certainly, and not just for the defense, but the byproduct of that being down 2 scores is a pretty big ask for the SNU offense, given the way the Crimson Storm have performed so far this year on that side of the ball.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think defense will definitely put some pressure on this drive.
SNU, same lineup out there with Zach Lloyd out there at defensive end. Daniel Flynn out there as well. SNU being pretty liberal in their rotations among the front 7 so far in this one. Henderson State comes out. 2 wide to the left, 1 to the right.
Dive.
Stemeti back to pass. Lots of time. Here comes Flynn. Gets around and makes the sack in the backfield. Excellent pressure from Daniel Flynn, who was able to shed his block, and terrific coverage in the secondary. Absolutely a coverage sack there for the SNU defense.
Absolutely, and good job by Flynn. Sometimes your tackle doesn't have to look pretty, you just have to hang on. And 10-yard loss helps SNU out quite a bit on 2nd down.
Loss of 8 on the play brings up 2nd and 18. Ben Johnson and Murray to the left. Here comes Murray in motion. Stemeti looks outside to Johnson, who drops it. Tight coverage there from Dorian Harris. A little bit of a low throw as well from Stemeti.
And Henderson is trying to get SNU to stay disciplined on those jet sweeps. But SNU's secondary is staying locked on their man, and great job by the cornerback there.
We have not seen Chase Lodre today. Not sure what his status is for Henderson State, but it's been Doug Johnson at the X so far for the Reddies. 3 wide to the left, 1 to the right. And a draw play to Cobra Jones, who is going nowhere, taken down quickly by Dylan Metter and Miles Roll, and a quick 3-and-out response for the SNU defense. A huge stop there, given the momentum in the game so far.
You couldn't ask for a better 3-and-out from the Crimson Sword. Not only is it a 3-and-out, and they're forcing Henderson to punt, but also made them lose yardage. And that means the offense will get the ball, hopefully, barring a good return, close to the right side of the 50.
Esperanza on to kick. Sails this one away. It's a high hanging punt to Stephen Gordon, who fair catches at the 42-yard line.
Great
and
field
that is
position.
where SNU will take over. We do have a flag thrown by the head linesman on the SNU sideline here. Quite possibly illegal formation or offsides, given the flag came at the snap. We wait the signal from the official.
Sounds like from the sideline it's going to be a re-kick.
It is offside. So we look for how that's going to be assessed. And it looks like they are going to enforce it from the end of the kick. And will enforce it from the end of the kick at the 42-yard line. So SNU will take over 1st and 10 at their own 37-yard line. So decent field position there for the Crimson Storm. And Gage Porter comes out now with the offense. So again, like we talked about in the pregame, we'll be seeing a rotation at quarterback today. And Gage Porter, a little bit of a harder, more decisive runner than Spady, but not quite as adept with the passing ability as far as knowing the offense and knowing where to go with the football. It's been described, it has a little bit of Johnny Manziel in him as far as wanting to make the play, wanting to make the big play, looking for downfield shots and extending the play. As the officials are huddled up here discussing, I think, the assessment of the penalty. I think, if anything, we're going to have it declined or might have a re-kick here. Must admit, I wasn't sure that an offside could be assessed on the end of the kick, so we might have to clear everyone off and do this whole thing again.
Get the punt return back on there. These are those moments in football games that you wonder what's going on if you're a fan.
Oh yeah, I'm sure, just driving coaches nuts as well. It's like let's just get on with it. Okay, so instead of re-kicking, Henderson State declines the 5-yard penalty, and we will see SNU start back on the 42-yard line now.
Seems like an interesting call. Why wouldn't you re-kick and maybe get a better kick? But Henderson hadn't been able to block very well on their punts, so it's probably just a safer bet if you're the Henderson staff.
Gordon in motion. Porter takes the snap, goes up the middle, and is met hard in the hole by middle linebacker number 40 for Henderson State. That's Khalil Mitchell. Gain of just 1 on the play as Mitchell came up hard from his middle linebacker position to make that tackle.
And that's just a QB draw, so you're wanting the linebackers to think pass just for a split second to get some depth. But Henderson State's linebackers being pretty smart and coming downhill, expecting the run.
Late substitution for the Reddies. A little bit of confusion there. Porter with the quick screen to Devin Brady. And he is chopped down after a 3-yard pickup. It's going to be 3rd down and 6 from the 46-yard line of SNU. Good play variety there, but just not enough blockers in front of Brady to let that go for more than a couple yards.
The tunnel screen is a nice design, and we saw it with Henderson State last series too. If you run it correctly, if you can get a seal block on some of those linebackers and defensive ends, then it's open.
Walker in motion. Porter with a quick strike over the middle, and it's pulled in by Stephen Gordon. Low throw, but Gordon went down to catch it. And now the line judge is coming in. And it looks like he's going to overrule.
It is a catch.
It is a catch, okay.
It's a good first down for the Crimson Storm. This is where I think you'll see the run game start to open up a little bit.
That is the longest pass completion that we've seen for SNU in a little while, unfortunately to say. Pickup of 12 on the play. And a first down for SNU at the Henderson State 42-yard line. Porter gives to Ramos, who gets the edge around the right side and then cuts it back toward the sideline, and he's taken down by number 31, Mercado Anderson for Henderson State, the nickelback. Ramos looked like he had the corner, but Anderson was able to beat the block and force Ramos back toward the sideline for a short gain.
And those plays outside zone are difficult for wide receivers because you're blocking knowing something's coming right behind you, but you often don't know which way the running back's going to cut it. Is he going to cut it back into the field or outside? And this time, number 3, Gordon, guessed wrong on his blocking.
Pickup of 3, 2nd and 7. Porter fakes the handoff to Walker, and he barrels forward right up the middle for a gain of about 6-7 on the play, and it's going to bring out 3rd and 2 at the 34-yard line. Excellent run there from Porter, and the speed of Walker drawing Henderson State to the outside there.
Lined up in the diamond formation.
This is a wishbone formation that they like to kind of implement and look for, a sweep to either Gordon or Walker from this. And it's a fake to Gordon, and Porter knifes his way into the secondary. Lost the football. Looked like he was down on the play, but no signal.
Unfortunately, I think Henderson recovered this football.
It did look like Henderson fell on that. Oh, and Porter's the one who comes out there with it.
Well, I know.
Good fight from Porter there, because it definitely looked like Henderson State had that football.
Absolutely.
So a nice run from Porter there. Pickup of 9 on the play. And another first down for the SNU offense. As solid of a sustained drive, again, as we've seen in a couple weeks since that East Central game and the home opener.
Yeah, it looked like number 34, Edwards, landed right on top of that football, but there must have been some wrestling going on for SNU to get the ball back. Good job by Porter wrestling for that football and not giving up an easy fumble.
Hunter Jones is back at center for SNU, and Grayson Winters is at right guard now. Porter going deep, directing traffic. Walker is run over at the goal line by Mercado Anderson. No call on the play. Looked like it might have been uncatchable, but a lot of contact there for a no flag.
Unfortunately for Porter, I mean, he throws the first wheel, but it's just a double wheel from both backs. But Gordon, number 3, ran a little bit of a shallower one, and he was wide open with space in front of him. He's got to make sure he gets his head up and goes through his progression.
Yeah, and that's a little bit of the big play desire from Porter that we've talked about a little bit. Wanting to make the big play when sometimes the simple one's the best option. 2 wideouts to the left, 1 to the right. Porter fakes a handoff to Ramos, drops it off to Brady, leaking off the end of the line there. And it's a short pickup of about 2 here. So we're going to bring up 3rd and 8 for the SNU offense. Certainly within Aguiano's field goal range at the 23-yard line. Actually going to be about 3rd and 7. Gave him the 23-yard line, but certainly want to pick this up and sustain the drive and generate some more momentum for your offense as we tick down 2:15 to go here in the first quarter.
Porter is doing a great job with this series, keeping the offense on the field.
Gordon in motion. Porter takes the snap. He's bottled up very quickly and actually lost a yard. Looked like he could have followed Gordon around the left side of the line as a lead blocker, but he loses a yard, and it's going to bring up 4th down, and Aguiano is on for the 42-yard field goal.
And back to that wheel route, I don't know that I blame Porter. You're wanting your offense to get going, and what gets an offense going more than a touchdown? So I understand his desire to throw deep.
Aguiano set. There's a snap. Hold kick. And it is up, and it is good.
Wonderful kick, straight down the middle.
So 42-yard field goal from Carlos Aguiano puts SNU on the board. 1:26 to go here in the first quarter. Henderson State leads 7-3. We'll be right back. .126 to go here in the first quarter. SNU trails Henderson State 7-3. After a very nice drive from the SNU offense, netted a 42-yard Carlos Aguiano field goal. Aguiano now set to kick off for the Crimson Storm. That one will sail into the end zone for the touchback.
I'll be anxious to see how the defense plays this series. Hopefully they can get a quick 3 and out and get the offense back on the field, who is definitely wearing down the Henderson State defense at the end of this series. So they should have a little bit of life, a little bit of breath in them to hopefully force a 3 and out.
Again, SNU pretty liberal with the substitutions, especially at the linebacker position. Now Dylan Bauer into the game at linebacker, and looks like Brandon Thomas into the game as well at nose guard. Handoff up the middle for Henderson State, and that's going to be a pickup of about 8 on the play. Number 28, Quarell Hall with the carry, and just a good solid run up the middle there, Landry.
Absolutely. Henderson State's doing something that's simple, but is working to their advantage.
2 wideouts left, 1 to the right. Stametti in the pistol. Hands to Hall again. Runs through a tackle, and Miles Roll just holds on for dear life as Hall is able to hop forward for the first down. Pick up a 4 on the play, and Henderson State moving the ball on the ground.
So what I was saying before that last snap is they'll put someone out, even the running back, and they'll just do a quick motion, nothing fancy, but it's to see how SNU is lining up and then to call the play that they want to call.
Henderson State with wholesale changes at the wide receiver positions. None of the starters are out there right now. Stametti looks left, right, no one there. Now tucks and runs left. He's tracked down and tackled on the play by Dorian Harris. Miles Roll in on the play as well. Pickup of 4 will bring up 2nd and 6 from the Henderson State 41-yard line.
That was a good blitz. It provided a lot of pressure on the quarterback. The unfortunate thing is it looked like the official missed a holding call on the left tackle, which gave the avenue for the quarterback to run for 4 yards.
And that's going to be the end of the first quarter. Our score, Henderson State 7, SNU 3. We'll take a short timeout and bring you back with the second quarter. Welcome back. Second quarter beginning here with a 2nd and 6 for Henderson State. Stemedi takes the snap, fires right, and he's got Ethan Lazarek, who carries across midfield for the first down for Henderson State.
And that right there is what we talked about in pregame, is that there's 2 quick outs. One's a little deeper, and it's almost like a pick play for the secondary who can't come downhill. Frees up the under route.
Marked right at the midfield stripe. It's Henderson State 1st and 10 now. Hall to the left of Stemedi, and he gives it to Hall up the middle, and he barrels down to the 46-yard line. Pickup of 4 on the play. Josh Jordan on the tackle along with Trenton Smith.
Yeah, just a simple zone play there. And SNU is wanting to squeeze that in, but those linebackers on the second level need to fill a little quicker.
Henderson State finding a lot more success on the ground so far than we expected. Again, 2 wideouts tight, 1 to the left. Stemedi rolling to his left, fires out of bounds.
And great coverage on the secondary right there. The near side receivers ran a crossing route, which was a lot like a pick play to free up one of the routes, but they did a good job switching and staying with their man.
Daniel Flynn step for step with Roderick Johnson there on that particular play. Henderson State has quite the stable of receivers, and they've been using them very liberally here. 2 wideouts to each side in tight. This Hall again to the left of Stemedi on 3rd and 6. Here's the snap. Blitz from Dylan Metter off the edge. And it's going to be intercepted! Noah Campbell with the interception, and he's backtracking, trying to find some space, and he is taken down at his own 37-yard line. We do have a penalty flag on the play.
Looks like it'll be sideline warning on the Crimson Storm. Nothing too bad. But great coverage. All they did was run shallow crossers, and Harris stayed with his man the entire time and got his head around just enough time to pick the ball off.
And it is a sideline warning on the Crimson Storms. Like you said, no foul, just a little too much excitement there. And we saw one of the officials having a quick conference with all the red shirt players for the Crimson Storm, presumably about making sure that they're staying behind the line and not getting too excited dancing on the field. But you can't fault them for having a little bit of excitement.
That's right. Get your offense, who was grooving last time, back on the field. And as you see, all the coaches making sure the Crimson Storm fans or players are behind that white line.
Oh, and just looking at Coach Andy Lambert with quite the Fu Manchu going on today. That is quite the look. Gage Porter, quick out there to read roll-offs. Makes the nice catch and gets upfield for a gain of about 8 on the play. Looks like they're, about 8 on the play. So great start on first down. Again, these short, quick throws giving both Porter and Spady some confidence early, but it's Porter in there right now.
And, that's the thing about SNU's offense is you have to be patient. If you're a fan, you're going to want them to throw the ball deep quicker. You're going to want them to do something almost out of character. But the run game sets up the pass game. And if the defense has to be disciplined on the run, those play-action passes are going to start to come more and more open.
Split backs here. Gordon goes in motion. Walker, the other one, gets the speed out on the outside, and it's a race to the sideline, and finally taken down at the 46-yard line of Henderson State. Number 23, Malik Brown, senior safety for the Reddies, makes the tackle, and getting the ball in Nate Walker's hands in space, a huge key for this SNU offense.
It's great play design. You get a motion making the defense try to flow the opposite way, and then you just do a quick handoff to number 2, who busts it for a big gain.
So first down for SNU in Henderson State territory. Like we talked about in pregame, a huge opportunity for the SNU offense to kind of have a get-well game against one of the lesser defenses of the GAC. Porter with the snap, fakes to Walker. Rolling to his right, he's pressured, throws it deep toward the sideline, and that one falls harmlessly incomplete. Had Gordon running a crossing route deep, and also had Jacoby Hicks down there, and that one falls incomplete. Probably would have been safer just to throw that one away as took a big hit from one of the defensive linemen.
Absolutely, that's what I was just about to say. You know, pressure on a rollout can disrupt the route because it makes it a harder throw. Sometimes, especially on first down, you cut your losses. You just throw that ball out of bounds and live to fight another play.
So SNU finding some success so far, both on the ground and through the air, as face 2nd and 10 from the 46-yard line. Gordon in motion. Porter gives it to him, and he is taken down in the backfield by number 31. That's Mercado Anderson, the nickelback, just shooting the gap, getting upfield quickly, and that's going to be a loss of 6 on the play, bringing up 3rd and 16.
Yeah, and that's a difficult. It looked like they stunted right at it. Great play call by Henderson State's defensive coordinator. But if you're the right tackle and that wide receiver, you got to make sure you seal the edge for a jet sweep.
So 3rd and 16, SNU back on their side of the 50 at the 48-yard line. Porter with Walker to his right. In trouble with the blitz off the right side. Now Porter's got a lot of space in front of him, and he's got blockers, and he splits the defense, and he's down the sideline for the touchdown. Gage Porter goes 52 yards on a broken play right at the Henderson State blitz. He was able to split the defense, pick up some key blocks down the field, and SNU takes a 9-7 lead.
Man, what a play. Broken play, getting pressure from what seemed to be all sides, and just does a little Tony Romo spin move. And what really made that a touchdown play was that wide receivers see him scrambling, and what do? They pick up a blocker, which creates a huge running lane, and he goes practically untouched for a touchdown.
Aguiano's extra point kick is up, and it is good. And with 11:18 to go before halftime, SNU with a 10-7 lead over Henderson State. We'll take a quick timeout and be right back after this. Welcome back as SNU prepares to kick off, now maintaining a 10-7 lead over Henderson State after the 52-yard touchdown run from Gage Porter. A lot of excitement on the SNU sidelines and in the stands here as Aguiano approaches and sends a short kickoff toward the Henderson State sideline. Fair catch called for at the 35-yard line, which is where the Reddies will take over 1st and 10.
Just a high onside right there, trying to catch him off guard. Henderson State's up back does a pretty good job of sticking his hand in the air and calling for that fair catch.
The wind is blowing fairly steadily from the south, and Aguiano kicking right into that, perhaps just not wanting to risk a short kick and a big return from the Reddies. SNU rolling out there with 3 defensive ends along the line. Spurlock and Lara and Hall with the carry, and it's going to be Zach Lloyd is lined up at the nose tackle position, taking down Hall after a 3-yard pickup. So an interesting defensive alignment there for SNU. They've got Breon Jackson also at the outside, and Hadley and Roll in the middle with Flynn, the 4th linebacker, here on the near side. Stameti in the pistol, looking right, and he just up the field throw for Doug Johnson.
And
looked like Josh Jordan overran the route there, and Johnson had a lot of space up the field.
Yeah, Harris, it seemed as if he was in man coverage, but he's set in the curl flats, and maybe the double move got him. But luckily for SNU, that pass was dropped.
3 to the left, 1 to the right. Wide receivers for Henderson State. Hard count. Yep. Gets Gillis moving, and Henderson State will reset here. Stometi gets the snap, looking to the left. Fires it in, and it's behind Murray. Good coverage again by Dorian Harris and Josh Jordan.
Absolutely.
And Henderson State will have to punt after a 3-and-out.
And all that is right there, Luke, is a sneak route where that outside receiver is going to try to find a hole in the gap right past the sticks. And if they settle in, it's there, but SNU defense doesn't give him much room to sneak anywhere, so good job.
Again, strength on strength matchup here today with the Henderson State passing offense and the SNU passing defense. Esperanza with the kick.
Another one almost blocked.
Line drive kick fielded by Gordon at about the 16-yard line. Gets away from one tackler, but does not get away from David Terrebonne. And he is taken down at the 22-yard line, and that is where SNU's offense will take over. Landry, what have you liked so far from what SNU's been able to do on offense so far today?
Well, SNU does a great job with motioning, and they've handed it off at the right time, I think, for the most part, making Henderson stay honest on those jet sweeps and those outside zones, which has really freed up the running game for the quarterback. He's had plenty of space to run. In fact, even on a broken play, he runs for a touchdown. But Porter has done a great job seeing those holes, making good reads, and getting those chunk yards, which if you're a defense and you're on the field over and over again and you're having to not only line up and be ready for the run, but make tackle after tackle, eventually you're not going to want to tackle as much as you did at the beginning of the game. So hopefully SNU can, on this series, continue to wear them down, do the ground and pound that they want to do while maintaining the keeping Henderson honest on the outside run plays. So we'll see what happens. Luke, what have you thought about the play action game from SNU? More passing than maybe I anticipated us seeing this early in the game.
Certainly, I think it's not certainly not a measure of desperation necessarily, but I think given the lack of success through 4 games, I think just trying different things has opened things up a little bit for SNU. 3 wide to the left. Porter gives to Walker, who's able to wiggle his way forward for about a gain of 1. He's taken down on the play by Cameron Saunier.
Simple counter.
Saunier, excuse me.
Simple counter play there. The problem is that the pulling guard and tackle just didn't get over quick enough to seal that edge, to create a bigger running lane.
It's very tough for those guys to beat Nate Walker anywhere. Walker extremely quick. Like you said, for the play to be successful, that's got to happen.
Yeah, and counter is a play that every team has a counter play in their playbook, but the ones who do it well are the ones who have fast guards and fast tackles.
Gordon in motion. Porter bobbled the exchange there, and he breaks away, and he's just taken down on the play by Malik Brown. Big pickup on the play.
Yeah,
he gained him about 22 yards.
It nearly was a turnover. He was selling the jet sweep, and in doing so, he bumped the ball into the wide receiver and fumbled it before he ran through the line. It seemed like the ball wasn't even secure as he was passing the line of scrimmage, but fortunately for SNU, it's a big gain, and momentum is still rolling.
SNU finding a lot of success with Walker on the field, as well as Stephen Gordon. No true running back out there for the Crimson Storm right now. Walker lining up in the backfield with Porter. As Gordon comes in motion, we've got a timeout as the play clock was dwindling down to nothing. What sort of advantage does that give the offense when you don't have necessarily a true running back on the field?
Yeah, the advantage is that at any time, anyone is your running back. And that makes not only for the defense, you have to be disciplined, and it makes a long game because you're running the ball so much, but it makes you mentally tired. So if you're a corner, or if you're an invert, you are constantly chasing or waiting for a motion to come to you that could get the ball. So there's no wasted motion on anything like that, which means defensively you have to be locked in. And if they're getting first down after first down, which SNU is doing a good job of right now, then it provides opportunities for SNU to take advantage of a mental bust by Henderson.
SNU at their own 44-yard line here with a 1st and 10. 8:55 to go before halftime, and SNU finding success across the board, both through the air and on the ground. Again, Jacoby Hicks in motion, left to right. The give is to Walker.
Just outside zone. And a great cut. There was nothing to be found, but Nate cutting up inside and getting something out of nothing, man.
Big hit on the play by Khalil Mitchell. He's made a couple big plays from his inside linebacker position. Pick up a 4 on the play, brings up 2nd and 6. SNU certainly in no rush as far as their tempo, which has been kind of their MO this season. They even with the offensive struggles, they do rank 2nd, 3rd in the conference, holding the ball an average of 33 minutes a game. Jet sweep fakes the jet sweep to Gordon. Porter is corralled to the outside and is forced out of bounds by number 17, Bowen Sweeney, the free safety coming up and making the nice play for a loss of about 3.
It's interesting. I guess it's a legal formation on SNU. It's going to be a 5-yard penalty. Make it 2nd and about 11. Although the SNU coaching staff seems to not like it. He's yelling at the far official.
Coach Lambert not pleased with the far side official, the line judge. He's not happy about the call of illegal formation.
Yeah, and what he's telling him is that the tight end was not on. So it's lined up as a sniffer back, which I'm guessing the officials saw something different with 8 men on the line of scrimmage instead of 7.
So after Henderson State declined the penalty, it'll be 3rd and 8 from the 46-yard line. Roll-offs, Gordon, Brady, Ramos, and Walker out there at the skill positions for SNU, and Ramos lines up to the right of quarterback Gage Porter. Snap, Porter looking right, going through his progressions. Again, trying to go deep, and Walker is shoved in the back on the play. And the crowd reaction drew that flag for sure, Landry.
Defensively, that is a bonehead play because you have double coverage. The quarterback, Porter, unfortunately makes a wrong read again. He, like we've been saying, he wants the home run ball, and it's his favorite target, Nate. And unfortunately for the defense, they shove Nate in the back, which results in a penalty. First down for SNU, and really they could have just let that play out, and he wouldn't have had a chance to catch the ball.
Yeah, and it looked like the Henderson State defensive back, if he had played the ball, would have had a better chance at the interception than Walker would have had at a catch.
Absolutely.
Walker standing just 5'7", that ball was well over his head.
Absolutely.
And the speed he was running, there was no way that he was going to leap up and catch that. But either way, it is a first down for SNU, now at the 39-yard line of Henderson State. Again, moving left to right toward the south end zone with the scoreboard here at SNU Football Stadium. Hicks goes in motion to the right. Porter, quick out to read roll-offs. He's got blockers in front, and an excellent pickup of about 11 on the play.
And unfortunately, he just got a bit of the turf monster right there and slipped and fell down, or he probably would have had a few more yards. But that's just a great quick screen, good throw, right on the money, and good downfield blocking by wide receivers. For those screens to work, you're relying a lot on your wide receivers to make big blocks, and SNU did a good job there, which provided them with an 11-yard gain and first down.
Roll-offs has been very quiet
the past 2 games. He's had a nagging injury that kept him out against Harding. He was able to play against Arkansas Tech, but did not have a reception. That's his first. These have been his first catches since the East Central game, and now we've got a false start on SNU with a little bit of confusion on the snap count and the motion there. So that'll set the Crimson Storm back 5 yards to the 33-yard line, where it will be 1st down and 15.
Looked like a little bit of confusion between the center and the quarterback. Maybe the motion was too soon or too late, but that's got to get cleaned up at halftime. Those are mistakes that SNU cannot afford to have.
SNU rolling with this combination of skill receivers. Gordon, Brady at tight end there, Walker in the slot, roll-offs on the outside, and Ramos in the backfield with Porter. There's the snap. The give is to Ramos. Makes a nice cut in the hole, but again, Khalil Mitchell right there in the middle of the Henderson State defense. Takes down Ramos for a gain of about 2, it looks like. Gain of 1, excuse me. So it'll be 2nd and 14 from the 32-yard line.
You know, before this drive, we talked about Henderson was having to stay honest on those jet sweeps because they were giving the ball to those wide receivers. However, the last few times there's been a jet motion, it hasn't really even seemed like the give was going to be an option. And so I wouldn't be surprised in the next few plays to see some kind of jet sweep, maybe right here.
Porter back to pass, and it looks
Offsides
like we've
again,
got false start again.
Number 3 for SNU. Well, it looked a little quick. Gordon seemed like he didn't know the snap count.
Coach Lambert talking with Gage Porter, trying to get his quarterback to be a little bit more assertive, getting to the line of scrimmage and getting instructions out clearly to his receivers and everything. SNU a little bit slow on the uptake as far as getting signals in. We've seen that issue a lot this year. So now it's 2nd and 19 from the 37 after the 5-yard penalty. Porter's back to pass, steps up in the pocket, and he's going to be taken down after a 2-yard gain by number 3, Lauren Johnston, was the guy who was able to get there first, and then the rest of the defensive line and linebackers closed in along with Zach Singleton and Jefferson Collins.
And what that is Gordon comes across the formation in motion, and they snap it after he passes the quarterback, and he just runs a wheel route up the sideline, and that's Porter's first look. But Henderson State keyed in on that and quickly made adjustments where that wheel route was covered. So he didn't have anywhere to go. His first read was covered, and by that time the pressure was on him, so he just took what he could get.
Down to 4 on the play clock as SNU gets set. Snap to Porter. Looking deep again, now scrambles, throws, and it is dropped by roll-offs, who got belted on the play. And number 27 for Henderson State, Antonio Franklin. Would not have been enough for a 1st down, but it would have made this 4th down decision a little bit easier for SNU with a short field goal for Aguiano. As is, it's going to be a punting situation now as Ryan Reed will attempt to pin Henderson State back deep. And from the 36-yard line, Landry, it kind of gives you a little bit of flexibility on what you want to do, but Coach Lambert electing to play field position here with 4:37 to go in the half. Which is
the right call. If there was more time, then I think maybe you go for it, or you kick a field goal. A knuckleball punt right here.
And the short kick is fielded at the 12-yard line, it looks like.
Which is right call by coach.
13-yard line. So 23-yard punt, no return. Does play a little bit of field position there, but, you know, sometimes it's always good to be a little bit of, you know, what does 23 yards do for you ultimately sometimes?
Yeah, 12-yard line, though, it's nice to pin an offense deep, especially if they're going to run quicker pace. It's a lot more field for them to go, and gives your defense that added a feel of comfort to be in the opposing's end zone.
Murray and Johnson to the left, Doug Johnson to the right for Henderson State as the wide receivers, as Stameti hands to Cobra Jones, who barrels up the middle and is taken down very quickly by Trayvon Hadley.
Yeah, great play. He saw that.
Looks like we have an injury. Jones is slow to get up. He's going to roll over, take a seat. He's holding his right leg. flexing that leg a little bit.
If we could, Luke, if we could go back to that third down for the SNU offense.
Certainly.
They motion from trips into essentially just a normal spread 2-by-2 with the tight end. And the running back and the tight end, or the motion man and the tight end run a wheel, and then the other two run a comeback, which Porter chose to throw the comeback, which was open, but he's gonna kick himself in film session tomorrow when they watch film because the tight end was standing in the end zone on that wheel route uncovered, which was an easy touchdown for the Crimson Storm. Just a misread, and again, he was pressured, which is tough to see. But those are things in film you wish you could have those plays back. But let's see how the Crimson Storm defense holds up as we close out the second quarter.
Henderson State comes out 4 wide, 2 to each side. Hall is back in the game at running back. He's to the right of Stameti. Takes the snap, looking to the left. He's got Ben Johnson down the middle, and that's going to be pass interference on Noah Campbell. Wrapped up a little bit with the left hand around the back. Made a nice defensive play, but was aided a little bit with the left hand wrapped around the back.
Those officials, they'll give you one hand if you're going to reach over and swat the ball, but if you're holding the wide receiver's other hand, they're not going to let that fly. So easy call for the official, which I think is the right call. Unfortunate for SNU.
So a 15-yard penalty will move the ball up to the 29-yard line. Henderson State working with all 3 timeouts left, down 10-7. 4:07 to go until halftime in a game that has really, outside of one drive, been controlled by the Crimson Storm. Stameti takes the snap and gives to Hall, running right, and is tracked down from behind. It's going to be Derek Gillis on the tackle. Pickup of 6 on the play, and that's 5 on the play, excuse me. It's going to bring up 2nd and 5 from the 34-yard line.
And if you're the SNU defense right here, it's easy to get lulled to sleep with just a little bit of time on the clock. Think it's almost halftime, but they need to get off the field and give their offense one more chance to get the ball.
3 wide receivers left, 1 right. Stameti takes the snap. He's looking left. He's got Ben Johnson on the corner route wide open again, and he's belted out of bounds at about the 45-yard line.
Out of these trips formations, they're just taking the number 2 receiver and doing a quick out or a shoot route, which provides a mild bit of confusion and a delay in coverage for the SNU defense, which is why we're seeing these out routes open up 10 yards or so down the field.
Pickup of 22 on the play. And a first down at the SNU 45. Stameti, keeper around the right side, and he'll slide down at the 41-yard line. Pickup of 4 there. A good read from the quarterback, not known for his rush, as the SNU defense crashed down on Correll Hall. You pick up a 4 on the play for the Reddies, brings up 2nd and 6 from the 41-yard line.
And for SNU, it's a good read by the quarterback. Or for Henderson, it's a good read by the quarterback to pull that. However, if you're SNU, you'll live with that. He's not a fast quarterback.
Stameti takes the snap, looking right. Doesn't throw it to Murray. Now throws it to Murray down the sidelines behind him, and it will be incomplete. Jaquel Davis out there on coverage, and he's done a fantastic job on John Murray. The senior from Houston came into the game as the 2nd leading receiver, leader in yards for Henderson State. Just 3 catches today for 9 yards, at least in the first quarter for Murray, and I don't believe he's had any here in the second quarter as well. 3rd and 6. Stameti, roll on the blitz, out route on the sideline is incomplete.
Incomplete.
Lazarek was there, made a nice catch along the sidelines, but the line judge rules him out of bounds, brings up 4th down.
You know, a nice bit of acting on the far sideline by the Henderson State coaching staff, which I don't blame him. You obviously want to get yards where you can get them, but he was clearly out of bounds, and good call by the official. And if you're at SNU, as a defensive coordinator, defensive coach, you got to love what you're seeing. Great secondary coverage, like we said at the beginning of the game, specifically from the corners. Harris and Davis have played really spectacularly well in a really high-rated passing offense.
Henderson State will punt. Esparza sends it deep to Josh Jordan, who lets it bounce. And Henderson State saves it from going into the end zone, and it is down at the 1-yard line. What a terrific play from the Henderson State special teams. Made a diving attempt to keep it out of the end zone, and SNU will start at their own 1-yard line. SNU didn't have their special teams unit out there. It was the regular defense, perhaps just anticipating a fake or some sort of trickery from the Reddies there.
Yep, that's what most defense call their Jesse James punt return, which just means don't do anything stupid. You know, just make sure the ball gets fair caught or through the end zone. Unfortunately for SNU, great punt with even better coverage on that punt. So they'll start deep in their own territory. Hopefully they can get a drive going, at least get out of their own red zone here the last 2 minutes of this quarter.
Josh Jordan made the correct read. It did bounce toward the end zone, but it bounced high enough where the Henderson State players were able to get under it and make that stop right at the 1-yard line. Just, again, terrific coverage, and perhaps something that doesn't happen when you've got your regular special teams unit out on the field.
Right, yeah, and the biggest thing with those safe punt returns is that generally you're not holding anyone up. So you're not asking for a return. In fact, you're telling your returner to just either fair catch it, or if it's going out of bounds, to let it bounce out of bounds, which means that no one's blocking for him. And it also means that if you're punting, if you're the punt team, you get a free release, which makes you get down the field quicker. And unfortunately for SNU, there seemed to be 4 or 5 guys right at the 1-yard line ready to catch that ball and down it at the 1.
Officials have been huddling.
Wow.
And they are ruling it a touchback now after a lengthy discussion.
It seemed as if the man who downed it, I don't remember what number it was for Henderson, but the man who downed it did seem like his foot touched the white of the goal line. However, I'm too far away to see for sure, but the officials conferred, and SNU gets the ball at the 20 now, which is a much better start than your 1-yard line.
And with 2:07 to go, 2 timeouts for the Crimson Storm, certainly opens up the playbook a little bit more, where if you're at the 1-yard line, you're probably just thinking about running out the clock. And now you have, given the success you've had in the first half offensively, you at least have to think about trying to push the ball downfield and getting some more points on the board before halftime. SNU will start with the ball in the third quarter, though, as well.
That's right. And surely you're thinking, what can we do that doesn't give the ball right back to them? So you might see a run first down. But if they get a few chunk yard plays, I bet you they speed up the tempo a little bit too. And if that happens, then you're going to see more passing from Porter, who's really had an excellent game.
Porter back out there, same unit that's been out there for the past 2 drives for the most part. Gordon in motion. Gordon, screen out to Walker, gets a great block from Flanagan, and just tripped up on the play by number 50, the linebacker Cameron Saunier. And it looks like that we're going to get a hold on SNU, though. It
could be a block in the back, but either way, a great play call. Unfortunately, I think the left tackle, 77, is the one who blocked in the back.
And Flanagan just raises his hands in confusion. Looked like he almost got out there, but so Walker.
Yeah, it would have been close, but you know, it's one of those things where if it's close, you got to let it go. Even if your offensive line coach might be a little frustrated with you in film, you have the yardage you want, so sometimes you just got to let those guys go free.
So the 10-yard penalty moves it back to the 10-yard line. So basically splitting the difference between the down punt and the touchback. So 1st and 20 now for SNU. Gordon again in motion. Tunnel screen to Brady, who drops it.
Yeah. It was open, too. It was open. Unfortunately, you got to follow it in and catch it before you run up the field. It's so tempting as a wide receiver to, especially on a quick screen, where you know you just have a split second to get up the field, to turn your head before you've controlled that ball all the way into your chest. So, unfortunately, SNU drops that pass. But 2 really good design plays in a row, just with negative results.
Still 1:41 to go. SNU sitting on 2 timeouts as the play clock ticks under 10. Just got the snap off there as Porter is tackled in the backfield. And they lose 3 yards on that play, and Henderson State will use their first timeout, trying to preserve some clock for their offense, which certainly wouldn't have any issues getting down the field given their passing attack. And just a little bit too lackadaisical there, but from Porter getting to the line of scrimmage, just kind of casually strolling in the backfield with about 5 on the play clock, and I think that caused a little bit of confusion along the offensive line with the rush.
Yeah, absolutely. And, I think, too, if you're SNU, you're going to run the ball there. You're going to want to take time off the clock. You're going to want to make them burn their timeouts. But what you don't want to do is take a loss of yards so close to your own end zone, knowing that more than likely you're probably going to have to punt here in a couple downs. So a little bit of a frustrating play, a little bit unorganized. And we've seen that a couple times from this offense. Slow to get to the line when the play clock is winding down, which has not helped them because, it shrinks their motions. It shows what they're doing easier to the defense. So hopefully after this timeout they can get that short up.
So SNU facing a 3rd and 22 from their own 8-yard line. So it looks like Henderson State will get the ball back before halftime, armed with 2 timeout, at least one timeout, at least. So Gordon to the left comes in motion. Porter with the snap. He'll go right up the middle. And again, Khalil Mitchell blowing up the play right in the backfield for no gain for Porter there. So it will be 4th down as Henderson State takes their second timeout. 90 seconds to go before halftime. And Landry, Khalil Mitchell from that inside linebacker position for Henderson State's made a lot of big plays so far today.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's a perfect game for an inside linebacker if you're Henderson State because they're going to run at you every play. But he hasn't let himself get washed down by a tackle or by a wide receiver. He's fought through his blocks as you're coached to do as an outside linebacker. Is when you get that pressure, you're supposed to sit in the chair, protect the line of scrimmage, and he's done that really well, tackling low, making sure they're not running any further. He's done a great job. Before this play, though, the head coach, Andy Lambert, tried to call a timeout, but was too late. So I'm guessing he didn't like the play call. So another unfortunate error for SNU to take a timeout later than they wanted to.
So Ryan Reed standing halfway through his own end zone to punt. And Colt Conway at the SNU 45 to receive. Reed gets off a very nice kick. And it's fielded by Conway at his own 48-yard line. Slips a tackle. Does not slip the tackle of Daniel Flynn, who brings Conway down at the 42-yard line. Also took his shoe on the play.
Henderson State shoe flying everywhere.
So Henderson State with an ideal situation here, just 42 yards out with 1:20 to go, a passing heavy offense, and 1 timeout to go.
Absolutely, and the first thing you think if you're the offensive coordinator is get in field goal range. And after that, then you can start thinking about a touchdown.
Cobra Jones back in the game. Dylan Metter coming on the blitz to Medi, looking right. Another corner route to Johnson, and that is well overthrown out of bounds. Good coverage there from the SNU secondary.
Yes, Stemeti has really targeted Johnson all game. And on that play, to his detriment, he had a wide open shoot route in the flats, but he was convinced that the corner was going to open up, and it really didn't. It was great coverage by SNU and a poor read by Stemeti.
Cobra Jones back in the game as well. He's to Stemeti's left. Stemeti takes the snap, looking down the middle. He's got Lazarek, who makes the catch and immediately taken down by Trenton Smith, but a terrific pass from Stemeti, hitting Lazarek right in the middle of the field at the 16-yard line. Pick up a 26 on the play, And it's 1st and 10 for the Reddies. Under a minute to go here in the first half.
Here comes something quick.
Stometti takes a snap, looking left. It's Doug Johnson on the post route, but it's incomplete. Good coverage there from Jaquel Davis.
Seemed like on that last play, Stometti must have heard me criticizing his corner route and his poor reads, because he found the perfect read right up the middle, which is why Henderson State is in SNU's red zone.
Murray, Ben Johnson, and Ethan Lazarick to the right. Doug Johnson to the left, and Cobra Jones in the backfield with Stometti. He takes the snap and throws a fade pattern to Doug Johnson, who was open, but it falls incomplete. Looked like he just jumped a little bit too early there on that particular pass.
Maybe a touch overthrown, but good job by SNU with great outside pressure, sending 2 outside linebackers on that one. Makes the quarterback make a decision quickly, which can force a throw that's just a little bit higher.
Marion Biletich into the game for Derek Gillis, that nose guard position. Lara and Zach Lloyd out there at defensive end. Stometti takes the snap. Quick slant to Doug Johnson, and it's caught at the 5-yard line. Oh, they're going to give him the 3-yard line, it looks like. And Henderson State hurries to the line to clock it, and they do that with 30 seconds left in the first half. Now second and goal from the 3-yard line for the Reddies, and a really nice throw and route to Doug Johnson there.
What Stometti has on that slant route is his arm strength is helpful. Can't float those slant routes in, and if you can put it on a line, even if it's covered, if you can fit it into a tight window, it's going to be a first down.
Stometti takes the snap. Little in and out route from Ben Johnson, who was in the end zone, and then the pass brought him back out of the end zone.
It looked like his feet, everything but the ball was in the end zone on that play, except it doesn't result in a touchdown. So Henderson State has to burn their last time out with 22 seconds left. Big couple plays for SNU's defense right here.
Yeah, 3rd down inside the 1-yard line. About a foot to go for a touchdown for Henderson State. And with no timeouts, you certainly run the risk of coming away empty here if you run the football.
Absolutely. And if I'm SNU, you're thinking the same thing what you just said, Luke, is that a pass is really the option for Henderson State. So I would expect to see quite a bit of pressure, at least on this 3rd down right here, hoping to get a mistake by Henderson State that could result in maybe a sack or maybe a tackle in bounds and not in the end zone, which keeps the clock running, and then Henderson has to pull the trigger quicker than they want to.
If you do run the football, you're probably thinking, a quarterback sneak right up the middle, or something to the outside potentially, because they come out 3 wide to the left here.
And Whitaker's in, which he just ran quarterback power last time he was in on the red zone at the beginning of the game. So look for something power right here.
Nothing like shotgun from the half-yard line, and a high snap is caught by Whitaker, and he is snowed under at the 11-yard line. And Henderson State, clock running. We're down to 10 seconds, trying to run another play.
And they have their backup quarterback in, which is benefit to SNU.
Gets the snap off. Whitaker scrambling around, right on the line of scrimmage. He throws it, it's knocked away by Dorian Harris. What a huge stand from the Southern Nazarene defense as the first half ends. What a huge play from Dorian Harris.
You couldn't ask for, if you're Henderson State, it's the worst thing that could happen on 3rd down with no timeouts. But if you're SNU, the best possible scenario, a busted play which results in a tackle, the clock runs, and they don't even have their starting quarterback in. So they're trying to run a pass play with less than 10 seconds left. It was doomed from the start on 4th down.
And nothing beats the sensibility of shotgun formation from the half-yard line, Landry. It's just it's kind of maddening sometimes.
Oh, absolutely.
These quarterback or these offenses that run exclusively out of pistol sets and shotgun formations, being unable to get under center and lean forward for half a yard.
Absolutely, and I'm a big advocate of the spread offense. I think it makes the game more interesting. However, even in middle school, you should be teaching your quarterback to take a snap under center because scenarios like that, it's important. But the weird thing is that Henderson took a snap under center to spike the ball, and instead of just doing a simple quarterback sneak or maybe even a dive with one timeout left, with no timeouts left, they put their backup quarterback in, who in the first quarter did score a touchdown, but on this one, snap goes over their head and really gives them no chance on fourth down.
So we're at halftime here at SNU Football Stadium with the Crimson Storm leading 10-7. We will take a break here for halftime. We will let you enjoy the sound of the Crimson Storm marching band here at the break, and then we'll be back closer to the second half kickoff to wrap up the first half with stats and a check on the Great American Conference scoreboard. So we will be back after this short break. In the meantime, enjoy halftime.
Sydney Montesano from Bethany, Oklahoma. Drum major is Jordan Ray. The band opens today's performance with an arrangement of a 1968 song entitled The Horse. The band continues its performance with an arrangement of the New World Symphony.
I've only seen you a few times, so I like the work you're doing so far. So
Good job,
I don't know what
McKinley!
your kind of interests were after college, but let me know. Maybe it'd be something if you're interested in we can talk about. Okay? Cool. Yeah, no problem. You guys are doing a great job. I've been keeping an eye on it down there, so everything's happening.
Welcome back here to SNU Football Stadium. We are just about set for the second half. Just wrapping up halftime here between the Crimson Storm and the Reddies. SNU holding a 10-7 lead here at the break as we go over some of the stats from the first half. For the Crimson Storm, it was a story of a little bit of production on offense for the first time in a couple weeks, as SNU ran 28 plays for 137 yards, held the ball for 16 minutes and 11 seconds, converting 3 of 7 on third downs. And it was 5 penalties for 50 yards for 97 yards, 40 passing yards through the air. But the consistency and success was a lot more than we've seen in the past few weeks for SNU since the home opener against East Central. For SNU individually, Gage Porter has come in and kind of taken over the quarterback duties from senior Jacob Spady. Had 10 carries for 82 yards and a 52-yard touchdown in the first half, and was also 5 for 9 for 36 yards through the air. Reed Roloff's the leading receiver, 3 catches, 23 yards. Devin Brady 2 for 5, and Stephen Gordon 1 catch for 12 yards. Nate Walker had 3 carries for 14 yards. Daniel Ramos 3 carries for 5 yards, and Spady 1 carry for 2 yards. On the other side, Henderson State 149 yards of total offense. SNU's defense doing a great job against the Reddies' passing attack, holding quarterback Richard Stemeti, just 10 of 22 through the air in the first half with 1 interception, 111 yards. On the ground, Quarell Hall, 5 carries, 24 yards. Cobra Jones, 5 carries, 14 yards. And Stemeti, 4 carries, 8 yards. Through the air, Ben Johnson, top target for Stemeti in the first half, 3 catches for 51 yards. John Murray, 3 catches for 9 yards, none in the second quarter. Ethan Lazarek, 2 catches, 35 yards, and Doug Johnson, 1 for 12. And Landry, as we get ready to start the second half, what did you like, what did you not like for SNU in the first half there?
Yeah, I think what worked out really well for SNU is what we were talking about at the beginning of the game. They have to control first down. And for the most part, they had chunk yards on first down, which provide help to the run game. And they did a good job. Surprisingly, I don't know if I was anticipating this, but their play action game has been really effective. They've been able to move the ball through the air pretty well to help them out on first down and even convert some third downs. And they're going to like what they see. I know, I'm sure at halftime the coaches were coaching all the offense up to find those open receivers, because there's some openings, and if they find them, they're going to result in some big plays or some touchdowns even. Defensively, they're really locked in. They're doing the right things. And one thing I noticed in the first half is no missed tackles, really. I mean, they swarmed the football. Lots of solo tackles by the corners. They played great coverage. And if you're the defensive coordinator, even though they have 7 points on the board, you're really pleased, because there were a couple opportunities for the Reddies to score, especially at the end of the half with the snap over the head of the backup quarterback. And so you're really pleased with getting off the field a couple times in the red zone with the Reddies not scoring any points. I think things they can improve on. They want to find those openings offensively. And then let's see a big play during special teams. That could be something that changes the tide of the game, hopefully in SNU's favor.
So we are set for the second half here. Timo Martinez set to kick it away for Henderson State. So Jaquel Davis and Stephen Gordon back deep for SNU, and there's the kickoff, and it will sail into the end zone and through the end zone, and the Crimson Storm will come out on offense here to start the third quarter, and Gage Porter leading the unit back onto the field. And Landry, some good success both ways, on the ground and through the air for SNU in the first half. What do you want to see them do here in the second half?
Yeah, I think they need to take a couple shots. Maybe they have a double action for a wide receiver, a hitch and go or something like that, that could really spring something open. Maybe it's even a play action and just tied in up the seam. Something that Henderson hasn't seen from SNU could really open up the offensive game for them.
Porter takes the snap, fakes a sweep to Walker, and he is snowed under in the backfield, gets back to the line of scrimmage. Number 44 on the tackle for Henderson State. That's Robert Thomas, the defensive end. No gain on the play, brings up 2nd and 10. Roll off, split out far left. Walker in the slot left. Stephen Gordon and Daniel Ramos on the field as well. Porter runs into the back of his offensive line there. Again, no gain on the play. Taken down on play by Cameron Saunier, and it's going to be 3rd and long for the Crimson Storm.
And there was definitely a lane on that play. Ramos has to kick out his defender. He whiffs on his block, and that leads an easy tackle for the Reddy's defense.
So 3rd and long for SNU. Rolls to the left, and ball slips out of his hand. It falls short of Reed Roloffs, and a very quick 3 and out for the Crimson Storm, and SNU will punt it away. 13:47 to go here in the 3rd quarter.
And that's not the start they wanted. Really no yards gained on that. And a quick punt, which puts your defense on the field with just barely over a minute into the second half.
Steps into this one, a low line drive for Conway, who fields it at the 44-yard line, and he's immediately taken down. Looked like Devin Brady was there quickly, along with Brayon Jackson, and that's where Henderson State will take over 1st and 10 at their own 46-yard line.
And on that punt, it looked like the punters, when he's holding the ball, the nose just dropped a little too fast for him, and sometimes when that nose drops forward, it's going to make you kick a line drive even if you're trying to get it high in the air. So unfortunate for SNU, but good.
Were they doing anything special schematically out there, Landry?
No, I don't think there was anything special. I think they're just playing solid, sound football, and solid, sound football most of the time is going to get you a win. So I'm anxious to see how the second half goes, though.
And it's a good position to be in if you're SNU, to not have to get to the quarterback quickly necessarily, because the coverage has been so good in the secondary.
Yeah.
A lot of speed back there, as we've talked about throughout the season.
Coverage, which is helpful to the defense.
Jones behind Stemeti in the pistol set, and he will give it to Jones, picking his way, and he is swarmed under at the 47-yard line. It's going to be a pickup of 1. Derek Gillis in there, along with Trayvon Hadley and Josh Jordan coming in from his safety position to help make a tackle, and it'll be 2nd and 9.
Yeah, and again, it's the running back is to the side of the quarterback, and they switch him to pistol right behind the quarterback. And just about every time they run a dive out of it or a quick out, and the SNU defense sniffing that out from the start.
2 wide receivers either side for Henderson State. Stemeti takes the snap, looking left. He's got Doug Johnson over on the sideline. Makes a spin move, and he'll have the first down after a pickup of 12 on the play, down to the 42-yard line.
Yeah, and that's a difficult coverage for number 17, Metter. He's playing inside linebacker, but they send the linebacker inside, which leaves the curl flats open for him, but he's not quick enough to get out there on that play.
3 wide out left, 1 to the right. Stemeti takes the snap, looks right, pump fake, and hits Johnson, leaking out on the wheel route. And another big gain for him. Pickup of about 25 yards on the play, and it's 1st down and 10 for Henderson State, driving at the SNU 16-yard line.
And all Johnson did right there was really run a slow-mo route. He acts like he's going to run an out, and right when you think he's settling, he comes back up the field, and it's an easy throw for Stemeti.
Stemeti, quick slant to Johnson. Feet got tangled up with Harris. Both go down, no flag on the play. Pass falls incomplete.
That's right, and it was good coverage, even if Johnson doesn't fall down. Great coverage there by Harris.
Hernandez and Hadley come off. Campbell and Flynn into the game now for SNU. With 5 defensive backs on the field, 2 wideouts left, 1 to the right. Stameti gets it out to Johnson, one-on-one, and he dropped it.
And
one-on-one on the outside,
yes.
John Murray on Dorian Harris. Noah Campbell went inside, dove inside on the run fake, and it was almost a free pass to the end zone there for Henderson State. They were unable to capitalize as Ben Johnson dropped the pass, bringing up 3rd and 10.
Reddy's got to be kicking themselves on that play.
Stameti takes the snap, looking left, fires, and it's over the head of Ethan Lazarek. And it will be 4th down for Henderson State. So a good stand from the SNU defense, particularly the secondary, forcing 3 straight incompletions. It'll be 4th and 10 as Timo Martinez comes on to attempt the 33-yard field goal. From the right hash, he's with the wind here. Snap, hold, kick is up, helicoptering in, and it is good. And we have a tie ball game with 11:51 to go in the 3rd quarter. We will take a short break as SNU and Henderson State tied at 10. Timo Martinez's kickoff sails out of the end zone, and it will be SNU football at their own 25-yard line. Second possession of the second half for the Crimson Storm after a quick 3-and-out in the first half. And SNU again a little bit slow getting out of the huddle.
Yeah.
Down to 13 on the play clock already as they approach the line of scrimmage. And, you know, it's sometimes just the little things that add up over the course of a game and of a season.
Yep.
Gordon in motion. Porter gives it to him. A great block by Ramos on the edge allows Gordon to get outside, but it's well defended on the play by number 23, Malik Brown. Pickup of just one for Gordon. Nice block by Ramos to at least allow Gordon to turn the corner.
And that's what you're asking for in an outside zone or a jet sweep. You got to have someone who's going to seal the invert. They're going to seal the outside linebacker. And he came up and made a great block on a guy who is well in position to make the tackle.
So 2nd and 9 for SNU. Gordon is left, Roloffs and Walker to the right. Walker goes in motion. Porter fakes the sweep, goes up the middle for a gain of 2. Taken down on the play by number 50, Cameron Saunier. A 3rd and 7 for the Crimson Storm.
Yeah, and another quarterback counter right there. Both guard and tackle are pulling. And what the Reddies are doing really well is they're taking out the center's legs, so there's no movement. Creates a giant pile, and when you're running a counter, you don't want a pile. You want clear lanes, and those piles slow everything down. So unfortunately for the Crimson Storm, they don't have much space to run through.
3rd and 7, Porter scrambling out of the pocket, and he is going to be corralled and taken down by Cameron Saunier back at the 19-yard line. That will go for a sack there as Porter tried to get rid of it late. Again, Porter just trying to make a play there and just ran out of time and didn't have any receivers open down the field, and SNU, another 3-and-out, will be forced to punt. So not a good start for the SNU offense here in the second half after a first half that saw them roll off 137 yards and see some measure of success for the first time in a couple weeks. Reed, a little bit better kick this time. It hangs in the air with the wind.
Yeah.
And it flitters down to Conway at the 49-yard line, where Henderson State will take over.
Much better punt. Nice tight spiral on that. That's going to give lots of hang time and makes the returner just have to eat it and fair catch it. Yeah, the SNU offense starting slow. Hopefully we'll get going after this next series, and we'll see how this defense does being on the field for pretty much all of the second half so far.
Henderson State comes out, 2 wides to the left, 1 to the right. Stametti hands to Cobra Jones, picking his way over the left side of the line, and a good solid run for about 5 yards there. Bring up 2nd and 5, brought down on the play by Spurlock and Lara, along with Marin Biletich in there also. SNU's done a great job of corralling John Murray and Doug Johnson. Of course, it appears that Chase Laudry not in the game today for Henderson State, so a huge break there. Stametti going deep down the field for Doug Johnson, and just off his hands as Josh Jordan was able to get there just in time to hinder Johnson's ability to make the catch. Beautiful throw from Stametti.
Absolutely, it was right on the money, and unfortunately, it seems as if he got his hands right in there just in time, but if you're the referee, that's a pretty tough call to let go.
State, hard count gets SNU leaning,
and watch the quick outs right here with the number 2 creating a pick.
Stametti looks that way, and he's got Lazarick, the inside guy, like you called, Landry, running the out pattern, and after Johnson, the slot man, ran an inside route, and Lazarick immediately off to the sideline.
And what they do, you know, pick play in football is illegal, but what they do is they'll slow play an in route and an out route, which creates space. There is a penalty on the play, which I think is going to benefit Southern Nazarene.
It's a personal foul against one of the offensive linemen, I believe. But the official did not make any indication as to what the personal foul was. So not entirely sure why it was called.
Looks like
it was an after the play penalty, though, which is also interesting because the flag definitely came out as the play was still going on. So a gift of sorts for Henderson State. They did get the first down, so now instead of 1st and 10 at the 40-yard line of SNU, it's 1st and 10 from their own 45. Stamedi gives to Jones, who's wrapped up by Flynn in the backfield. He does shake that tackle, but gains only 2 before a host of Crimson Storm defenders take him down. Just a 2-yard gain, 2nd and 8.
Just an inside zone right there. And you were seeing when the defense is on the field for a long time, should have been maybe a loss of 1 or no gain, but a missed tackle at the point of contact. When you're tired, that's what starts to happen.
Stamedi takes the snap, rolls to his left, looking for Johnson on the corner route. Instead finds Murray cutting back to the inside of the field. Great job by the wide receiver working to the open space for his quarterback. He's taken down by Spurlock and Trenton Smith after a pickup of about 12 on the play, and it's a first down at the 41-yard line for SNU as Ben Johnson now down.
It seemed to be
for Henderson State. Miles roll play will bring up 2nd and 7 for the Reddies.
SNU's done a good job against the run game. It's these quick passes that have really hurt them in the second half.
Stamedi takes the snap, handoff to Jones right up the middle, on cue, runs over a tackler, and picks up about 15 on the play. Best run of the day for Henderson State, and they are moving quickly. And SNU did not get off the field in time.
There's
another quick handoff for Jones, but no flag from the line judge. The defensive lineman ran off right in front of him, was clearly not off the field in time.
The Henderson State coaches obviously are upset about that, but they shouldn't be too upset because they have a 2nd and 4, even though SNU had 12 men on the field.
2nd and 4, 3 wideouts right, 1 to the left for Stamedi. Cobra Jones in the backfield with him. And Stamedi with the keeper, and a great one-on-one tackle there from Miles Roll. Stamedi with the keeper on the zone read.
This is the second time we've seen the zone read this game. And just like I said on the first time, SNU is fine with Stamedi keeping that zone read. He's no barn burner, and he definitely didn't have any speed to work with right there. And great solo tackle by the outside linebacker, though.
Ben Johnson back on the field for the Reddies after the cramping issue. 3 wideouts to the right. John Murray coming in motion to the left. Stamedi will take the snap, looks right, going deep down the sideline for Doug Johnson. It's incomplete. There is a flag thrown by the back judge. I think we're going to get pass interference on Jaquel Davis.
However,
who looked to be in great position, just railroading him into Doug Johnson into the sidelines. Certainly forced him out of bounds. The question I think the officials are huddling on right now is whether he was forced out or whether or not he ran out on his own accord, and we might get illegal touching on Doug Johnson.
Yeah, anytime you see the official's hat off, you know someone has run out of bounds. It's tough to see from up here. It did look to me, Luke, I'd love to hear what you think. It looked like SNU shoved him out of bounds on his route, but by Johnson's reaction, it looks like it's going to be on SNU.
We are going to get pass interference on Jaquel Davis. A little bit more than just railroading him into the sideline there, apparently. At least according to the back judge, maybe just a little bit arm across Johnson's arm a little bit early on the actual pass. So we'll be half the distance to the goal.
And it was good
for SNU. Oh, just kidding. They went with a full 15 yards.
Wow.
Don't know if that's applied correctly, but We'll go the full 15 with them down to the 4-yard line where it will be 1st and goal for Henderson State.
You know, the last play, they just ran a stick route with Johnson, and SNU keyed on Johnson because he's been the hot receiver, and then they threw the fade to the outside receiver, which benefited Henderson.
Stametti takes the snap, looking left, and it's nearly intercepted by Dorian Harris, looking for Ben Johnson in the back of the end zone. And good coverage there by Harris to leak off of his man and fall back into that back corner route.
Yeah, it looked like either cover 2 or maybe cover 3, probably cover 2. And what you can do if you're the far outside corner on cover 2 is you can sink if your man it stays low, and you can pick off the corner, which is exactly what nearly happened there.
Cody Whitaker, the backup quarterback into the game, he's going to run power right up the middle, and he's taken down on the play by Zach Lloyd, who was getting blocked to the ground. Excellent effort from Lloyd, who prevented a touchdown there.
Yeah, absolutely, and this quarterback, if we remember to the end of the first half, is the same one who had a snap launched over his head. So I know SNU is hoping for something special like that again here, 3rd and 2 from their own 2.
3rd and goal for Henderson State from the 2-yard line. Whitaker in, Hall to his right, Murray coming in motion across the formation, and Whitaker runs right into Murray, and he is stopped at the 1-yard line. Huge stand for SNU.
Yeah, and again, not only for SNU, but for Henderson State too. The counter seems to be a play that hasn't helped anyone. People running into each other, and the guards and tackle is not fast enough for some of these running backs. It's a timing play, and it seems as if for both teams the counter's timing is off.
Whitaker staying on the field with the offense. 4th and goal from the 1 for Henderson State. Whitaker takes it. He's bottled up. He didn't get it! The SNU defense holds fast. Everyone in the play. Derek Gillis down at the bottom. Daniel Flynn in there with Noah Campbell as well. A huge stand for the SNU defense at the 1-yard line, and the Crimson Storm take over on offense.
What's really spectacular about that 4th down play is they reach him at the first point of contact, but what is frustrating about goal line plays oftentimes is that there's not just one point of contact, there's usually 2 or 3 or even 4, because the quarterback or the running back is rolling off of tacklers trying to stretch the ball, but they don't give him an opportunity to stretch the ball over the end zone and stop him just short, which means SNU has the ball, looking to go take the lead.
So the SNU offense backed up to its own 1-yard line, but after a tremendous stand from its defense, we'll see if the Crimson Storm are able to get anything going. And just like that, they have to call a timeout coming out of a dead ball situation. Not the first time we've seen that this season. Certainly a frustration for the Crimson Storm. We'll take one with them and be right back after the short break. Welcome back. 4:56 to go in the 3rd quarter. Tie ball game here between Henderson State and SNU. SNU backed up to their own 1-yard line. Porter on the keeper, spins out of a tackle and gets up to the 7-yard line. A nice little pickup on 1st down. Gives the Crimson Storm a little breathing room there. And
that's right.
Really impressive spin move there in the hole, Landry.
Yeah, and any room is a good room when you're hole, and then have a safety or a turnover, which leads to scoring for Henderson State. So good run, 2nd and manageable, and you can live with that if you're SNU.
So 2nd and 4 after the 6-yard pickup for Gage Porter. Walker in motion. The give is to Daniel Ramos over the left side, and he picks up about 1. Bring up 3rd and 3 from the 8-yard line. SNU looking to generate some offense inside their own 10-yard line. As we take care of another pesky Yellow Jacket here in the press box. So 3rd down and 3 for SNU. Still rolling with consistent personnel here. Something we haven't seen a lot of so far this season. Porter fakes the handoff to Ramos on the sweep, finds a hole, and he's getting upfield and belted by Saunier at about the 15-yard line. But Porter does pick up the 1st down, and some good sportsmanship and yapping between Saunier and Porter, acknowledging the hard hit, but Porter bouncing right back up.
That's great play design right there. It looks like a play-action pass, but really they just slipped this near side guard as a lead blocker for the quarterback. So it's really just a short quarterback sweep, which is a great play call. Gets him 6 to 7 yards for a 1st down.
So 1st and 10 from the 16. Porter looking for the tunnel screen to Brady. It's not there. And he's able to nullify the loss. Looks like he ended up losing about 2 on the play. Henderson State was ready for that tunnel screen to Devin Brady, and Porter had to eat it and try to make something out of nothing. He did lose 2 on the play, so it'll be 2nd and 12 from the 14-yard line. 2:40 to go here in the 3rd quarter.
Yeah, and if you're the offensive coordinator, you just want Porter to throw that one away because he ran right towards the tunnel screen. It's not a lot of blocking there for him.
Porter looking down the field, nothing there. Scrambling out to the left, trying to make something out of nothing. Fumble the football, and it is recovered by Mercado Anderson for the Reddies. And another example of Porter just trying to make a play. A little lackadaisical with the ball, and Henderson State will take over 1st and 10 at the SNU 23-yard line. It's the first turnover of the day for the Crimson Storm. You know, and it's one of those things you have to balance trying to make a play and being smart, and right there just a situation where he got himself into a tough spot and was just not secure with the football.
Yeah, absolutely. And he's still, 5 yards past the line of scrimmage looking down the field and has the ball like he's ready to throw, and unfortunately that's not a safe position to have the ball if you're running it.
Stometti gives to Hall right up the middle, bouncing off tacklers, finally taken down by Dylan Metter at the 11-yard line, but not before a gain of 12 on the play. And we've got an SNU player down on the field. Can't tell who it is from this angle. I believe it's a secondary member.
And what we saw in that last play is a tired defense who's been on the field probably a little longer than they want to be. And that's when those big holes in the run game start opening up.
Looks like it's Trenton Smith who's down for the Crimson Storm about the 11-yard line. Strong run on the play by Hall, excuse me. Henderson State starting to find a little bit of room in the middle of that SNU defense. Like you said, Landry, this SNU defense has been on the field for a long time here in the 3rd quarter. 2:07 to play.
And I think SNU's offense has only run 10 plays in 1 quarter, which means the defense has been on at least double that.
can be right back after this. That sucks. I just saw like 3 or 4. I feel like there's got to be a nest like right up in around here.
Realistically, though, this is the last game they're here. You know,
I hope
it's
so.
gonna get too cold. They won't be here.
Maybe we'll have a freeze in the next 2 weeks. That'd be nice.
Yeah, I'd kill them all.
Welcome back as Henderson State capitalizes on the Gage Porter fumble with an 8-yard touchdown pass from Richard Stametti to John Murray. Timo Martinez boots this one away. It's going to be Jaquale Davis, a couple yards deep in the end zone, bringing it out, and he is chopped down at the 18-yard line by number 48 for Henderson State. It's Colby Turner, and I think we're going to get a block in the back as well on SNU. So this is going to put SNU inside the 10-yard line again here in the second half.
Yeah, it's a frustrating penalty for SNU. Something that really doesn't affect the play, but unfortunately, a block in the back after he's already run past the guy who's blocked in the back. So. Hopefully SNU, though, can get something going. A couple first downs would do a lot just to help the defense out and get them a breather, and at least maintaining possession of the ball into the fourth quarter could be a huge boost of momentum for this tired SNU defense.
Jacoby Hicks, the guilty party there. So that will back SNU up to its own 7-yard line. First down and 10 for the Crimson Storm. Moving left to right across your screen from the north down to the south is Porter in the backfield with Daniel Ramos. Rolling to his right, throws to Gordon, and it is caught at about the 11-yard line. They are going to give him the 12-yard line, so pickup of about 5 on the play. A good solid gain on first down for the Crimson Storm.
Yeah, and that's a good little quick screen. It's a confidence play. You gain yards. You're not looking for a home run, but you're moving forward in the right direction. Easy completion for Porter, who probably after that fumble needs a bit of a boost.
So 2nd and 5, 2nd and 6 just about for the Crimson Storm. 45 seconds left here in the first half. Third quarter, excuse me. Porter on the keeper up the middle and slides down after a gain of maybe 1. We'll bring up 3rd and a long 5 for the Crimson Storm as we are under 30 seconds here in the third quarter. SNU might elect to just run this one out, as they certainly would be able to, and that certainly looks like the approach they're going to take.
Wise decision. Regroup. You got 3rd and manageable. Get a good play design. Although they're getting to the line here rather quickly.
Porter gets up to the line, and then the coaching staff tells him to take a break and chill out. And that will bring us to the end of the third quarter.
Wise decision right there by the head coach. It seemed like the players were a little more anxious than he was to snap the ball at the end of the third quarter.
So Henderson State with 10 points in the third quarter to take a 17-10 lead as we head to the final stanza here at SNU Football Stadium. Your score, Henderson State 17, SNU 10. We'll be right back after this short break. Here with 3rd and 5 for the Crimson Storm, their own 13-yard line. Start of the 4th quarter, Henderson State leading 17-10. Low snap, Walker in motion, Porter in trouble. Now just throws it up for grabs, and it is an easy interception for Henderson State. Bowen Sweeney picks it off at the 20-yard line and takes it down to the SNU 9-yard line. Just a terrible decision there from Gage Porter, who is being harassed in the backfield under duress. Just tried to throw it up to Reed Roloffs to let him make a play, but just a terrible decision. And now Henderson State, it starts 1st and goal at the 9-yard line with a chance to really take control of this game.
You know, the frustrating thing is that the play was there. He just needed to trust it a little bit more. Know there's pressure, but his tight end, Devin Brady, is running free in the flats for a 1st down, and that pressure made him panic. And instead of throwing the ball away or throwing to his tight end, he throws an interception.
Stametti hands to Hall around the right side, and he's taken out of bounds at about the 4-yard line, it looks like. It'll be 2nd down and goal. Henderson State started to find some success there on the ground in the 3rd quarter. They have 48 yards on the ground in the 4th quarter. And SNU on the field for 22 plays in that 3rd quarter, while the offense struggled to run just 13. So the SNU defense asked to make another stand here. 2nd and goal from the 4. Stametti gives to, oh, it's a keeper, and Stametti dives for the end zone.
Looks like SNU has recovered.
And they are ruling him down right at the 1-yard line.
Looks like 3rd and 1. From up here, I mean, our vantage point isn't great, but it looked like he fumbled the ball before he hit the ground, but could just be bias.
And at best, he landed on the ball. So in my mind, with no elbow or knee down, that's a fumble. But either way, 3rd and goal from the 1. Can SNU defense make another play? And it's Hall right up the middle for the Henderson State touchdown. Too easy for the Reddies there after the interception from Gage Porter. And Henderson State takes a 23-10 lead with 13:37 to go. And Landry putting a lot more pressure on this SNU offense that hasn't been able to generate really any big plays this entire season.
Yeah, absolutely. 2 touchdowns with 1 quarter on a run-heavy offense is a tough task. Luke, I'd love to hear what you think. What's the possibility of seeing Jacob Spady back in the game after a good 2nd quarter by Porter, but a really, really rough quarter by Porter, 3rd quarter by Porter?
Well, it seems the coaching staff is pretty comfortable with Porter as the extra point is up and good. They seem pretty comfortable with him directing the offense the rest of the way. You know, he certainly does give you a lot of big play ability, but at the same time, you know, you see plays like both turnovers for him, the fumble and the interception just there. Is it the definition of a guy trying to do a little too much and not cutting his losses and moving on to fight another down. So still a lot of time left in this one, and you know, the success that SNU had in the 1st half is something to kind of hold on to if you're the Crimson Storm. Certainly plenty of time to make a play or two and get back in this one, but as we get set for the kickoff here, it just doesn't look good. And
yeah,
you know, there is a lot of pressure that comes with an offense that's struggling and trying to make plays. But sometimes you just have to realize when too much is too much.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, this is what when you're playing a sophomore quarterback, this is what happens oftentimes. You know, they don't have the wherewithal to see the plays that need to be made and the plays that can wait, for lack of a better word. So we'll see what they go with.
Off the tee, and Martinez will tee it back up. Jaquel Davis and Stephen Gordon back deep to receive the kick.
Certainly it's a point of the game where if we're going to see SNU's passing offense, this will be the time.
Kick is away. Floats in the wind. Gordon will take it at the 6. Moving to his right. And he is caught and tackled on the play by number 37. It's Cameron Schultz. We got a late flag on the play, and it's number 44 for SNU, slow to get up. That's Anthony Nichols, a freshman defensive back.
Not quite sure what happened, but the SNU fans obviously don't seem pleased about it. So probably a late hit of some kind. I think it was number 48 for Henderson State.
And they have thrown
19.
the Henderson State player out of the game. That's Caleb Jonas, the freshman from Smithville High School, Smithville, Texas. He has been ejected for that late hit.
Yeah,
he runs off to the locker room by himself. A little bit of a different scene here in Division II without the three personnel staffers going with him.
That's right.
Just one guy.
Just running back to the locker room.
All alone, running off.
It's a long walk, too, here at Southern Nazarene Stadium back to the visitor locker room. And he must have thrown a punch or a really late, dangerous hit to be ejected from a game like that.
So 1st and 10 for SNU at their own 34-yard line. It is Jacob Spady in at quarterback now. And he throws a quick out to Stephen Gordon. He's got space on the outside. Great block from Devin Brady, and he will pick up 11 on the play out to the 45-yard line. First down, Southern Nazarene.
And the crazy thing is that's only SNU's second first down of the second half. And so hopefully they can keep this rolling. A touchdown, there's lots of time. A touchdown quickly right here makes the game very manageable.
So SNU comes out in their wishbone formation here. Walker behind Spady, Gordon to his left, Jacoby Hicks to his right. And it's Spady keeping up the middle for a 4-yard gain, tackled on the play by number 77, DQ Scott.
Scott makes a great play right there. If he keeps his feet moving, though, it's less of a gain than it is. But good play, good run by Spady.
Spady with a hard count. A little bit of a jump there from number 91, Mike Ito. And it's Gordon around the outside. Taken down on the play for a short gain of 4. It looks like it's going to bring up third and two for SNU at the 47-yard line. And Landry, I think this is 2-down territory if you're the Crimson Storm. This side of midfield.
Absolutely, and with the time left in the game, you got to think about every 4th down as a possibility to keep going for it. What you get, though, when you put a senior quarterback in, so Spady's back in the game, what you get is longer reads. Obviously, Spady had a little more time in the system and is trusting the zone read much more than the younger sophomore quarterback.
Spady keeps again on the read, and he barrels down to the 42-yard line. Pick up a 5 on the play, and it will be a first down for the Crimson Storm. Excellent blocking up front from the offensive line on this drive so far. Finding a little bit of space up the middle that had not been there. And with Porter, a little bit faster, a lot more of the runs to the outside.
Right.
But with Spady, a little bit more of a plotting runner. He's going right up the middle here. Gordon in motion. Spady fakes to him. He will keep it right up the middle again. And another pickup of 6 this time.
And this is what I'm talking about. When he gives the ball away on those reads, he's given the ball 2 times since he's been into Gordon. And then this time he fakes to Gordon on the jet sweep. And the Henderson State defense, especially the outside linebackers, have to crash on Gordon, which creates a huge running length for Spady right up the middle.
Right tackle Sam Perkins comes out with a helmet issue. So Mark Henderson is in at right tackle. They run away from that. Stephen Gordon around the left side. Great block from Nate Walker. It's Gordon with a great cut upfield around the block, and he will have another first down to the 29-yard line.
And that's just the opposite of what they just ran. Instead of Spady keeping it, they give it to Gordon, who Gordon comes around the outside and uses his speed to get a first down.
SNU's offense finding a little bit of life here on the ground, specifically with Spady in the game. It's doing the Crimson Storm a world of good here from this wishbone set. Spady down the middle to Brady, and it is knocked away. Trying to go with the play action pass there.
And it's a good play call, but really well read by the Henderson State defense. It's not something you see from SNU all the time. Just a tight end pop route, so you fake the play action, and hopefully you have that safety fall asleep on your tight end who's running up the seam. Unfortunately, it's covered really well. Still a really well thrown ball. It hit the hands of the big tight end, Devin Brady, but it fell incomplete.
Again, Spady and SNU in the wishbone set. The give is to Gordon around the right side. He was taken down after a gain of 2 by Saunier. Khalil Mitchell had a shot at him in the backfield. Gordon was able to elude a loss on the play, but Saunier with a great tackle there in space limits the gain to 2. Brings up a 3rd and 8 here for the Crimson Storm.
You have to think of this play as a 3rd down part 1, like we were talking about earlier. And then if they don't get the first down here, it's 3rd down part 2. And maybe they kick a field goal, but with 9 minutes, 30 seconds left, you got to be thinking touchdown, down 14 points.
Spady keeps it, and he is taken down on the play by none other than Khalil Mitchell. Gain of 0 on that play. Brings up 4th and 8. And again, like you mentioned, a little bit of decision time here for SNU. Get the points with 9 minutes to go, or you keep going for the first down and potentially come away with nothing. It looks like the offense will stay out on the field. The play clock ticks under 20. Three wideouts to the left. Spady looking that way, and a blitz up the middle, and he is taken down at the 34-yard line. Number 93, Lauren Johnston, in the backfield to make the play, and SNU turns it over on downs.
Well, they had the coverage they wanted. They had man on the outside. But the reason they had the coverage they wanted is because Henderson State sent the house, and unfortunately they weren't able to pick up the blockers they needed for Spady to have enough time to make the throw towards the end zone.
So a tough situation turning dire for the Crimson Storm with 8:46 to go. Henderson State back on the field on offense. The give is to Quirrell Hall, and he barrels forward for 6 yards on the play. 2nd and 4 upcoming for the Crimsons, or for the Reddies.
And Southern Nazarene's defense better be ready for a heavy dose of run right here. They're going to have number 42 coming at them over and over and over again. So they and of course number 28.
Stameti takes the snap, rolling to his left, firing deep down the field, and it is caught down the sideline. Goes Zacharias Nash-Kelly, and a huge gain on the play down to the SNU 23-yard line. Just when SNU and everyone probably expected Henderson State to start milking the clock a little bit, they gash the Crimson Storm for a big pass play down the sideline, and that rollout to the left, Landry, has opened up a lot of things for Henderson State today on those corner routes.
Absolutely, and this one was disguised. The outside receiver just runs a short hitch route, or even looks like he's going to block, so they flow with the play action, which makes that corner not be able to sink back in coverage, and then the inside receiver runs the corner.
Hall up the middle is taken down on the play by Zach Lloyd after a gain of 3. Bring up 2nd and 7 from the 20.
And right here, if you're in SNU's red zone, if you're Henderson State, you're going to try to score one more time and make this game out of reach. And this, if you're the defense, this is really where you have to stand strong and hopefully create a turnover that gets the ball back in your offense's hands.
Henderson State in no rush as the clock ticks under 7 minutes to go with a 2-score lead over the Crimson Storm. Stameti with Hall to his left. The give is to Hall, running right. He's taken down by Biletich, and it looks like that's number 58 for SNU, Jaleel Maxwell, junior from Harker Heights, Texas. down to the 16-yard line. It will be 3rd down and 3 for Henderson State.
You can expect a hard count right here. Henderson State needing a first down, but then a hard count, and then if I'm Henderson State, I'm looking for quick slants with a corner by Johnson running in the end zone. So we'll see.
Murray comes in motion. Stametti looking for Ben Johnson on the corner. Did not find him, and it's Trayvon Hadley with the sack on the play. A huge stop for the SNU defense. Brings up 4th down, and Martinez will come on to make this a 3-score game. 5:45 and counting here in this one. Big kick upcoming from the 25-yard line, so a
35-yard kick.
35-yard kick. Math is hard sometimes.
Into the wind. We'll see. We'll see how well he handles.
Looks like Henderson State's going to take this down and take a timeout. Milk as much clock as possible.
Yeah, absolutely.
5:15 to go in this one. We will take timeout with them. Henderson State looking to possibly put this on ice, up 24-10 with a 35-yard field goal upcoming. And welcome back here. We are coming down to the wire with SNU and Henderson State. The Reddies looking to put this game not on ice necessarily, but certainly difficult with 3 possessions with a 35-yard field goal here from Timo Martinez from the middle of the field. Snap, hold, and kick. Dorian Harris nearly got there.
And it looks like it's no good.
And it is no good!
That's a great play by Dorian Harris. I think that's 2 times this game, 1 a punt and 1 a field goal, where SNU's defense has been in perfect position and the ball has just gone straight through the outstretched arms of the defender. So it's nice that it's a missed field goal, and this should breathe a breath of life into an offense who was moving the ball well and got stopped on 3rd down. So hopefully the SNU offense, they'll definitely have to pass, but hopefully they can move the ball down the field and get a touchdown, which is really what they need. And then we'll get to see the infamous hands team, so which would be a good sight for the SNU fans today.
So SNU with a great opportunity here to cut down on this lead. And, you know, Landry, I'm no kicker, but I can imagine someone barreling off the end there has got to kind of mess with your mechanics a little bit.
Yeah, they'll get injured because their head is down, so they don't see anything. But it's hard not to hear footsteps. Just like a quarterback who's getting rushed from the back end can throw a ball high. A kicker can push one left or right because they feel that pressure coming. You know what's interesting about Henderson State's field goal block unit is they want you to try to block backside, which is what happened. So they want you to come around to where the holder is, which is a longer path. So they'll say, you take that side, that's fine, we'll block the other side. But number 21, Harris, was just too fast and got around in plenty of time to disrupt the field goal.
Spady back there at quarterback again. Quick pass out to roll-offs. And a very nice quick tackle there from Bowen Sweeney. Good blocking down the field from SNU, but they forgot about Sweeney, and Sweeney was the one who was able to make that play go for just 4 yards as the clock ticks under 5 minutes. 2nd and 6 for the Crimson Storm, who need to see a little bit more urgency in the speed of offense here. Yeah,
that's Jacoby Hicks, who's in for the 5th receiver right now. He runs over, and he misses his man. He goes to the 2nd level when he needs to hit the 1st level.
Spady fakes the sweep to Gordon. goes up the middle, but is taken down on a nice play from Jefferson Collins in the middle of the defense. Just kind of grabbed onto Spady, and while he was being blocked and managed to drag him to the ground. Spady had a hole up the middle, but the Collins tackle prevented him from exploiting that gap in the Reddy's defense. Brings up 3rd and 5 as we come down to 4 minutes to go here in this one with SNU down 2 scores.
You know, Luke, you'd think there'd be some more urgency from SNU. There's already been a minute that's ticked off the clock and only 2 plays.
Yeah, at this tempo, it's going to be hard for SNU to score once, much less twice. Gordon coming in motion. Spady looking his way. Quick slant to roll-offs.
Which looks like a first down.
And it's perfect placement there from Spady, just past the marker, and that's a first down for SNU as the clock continues to move, 3:40 and counting.
And here comes a little bit quicker tempo from SNU, which is what they'll have to do the rest of the game with 3 minutes, 30 seconds left.
Spady rolls to his right, quick out to roll-offs, spins and picks up about 4 or 5 on the play.
Great catch and great play by Roloff. Unfortunately, Roloff has to know that you essentially from here on out, you're in 2-minute offense. You have to get out of bounds. He stays in bounds, the clock continues to run, and they're not going to be able to snap the ball until the clock is well under 2 minutes. Or, excuse me, well under 3 minutes.
So again, SNU, not a lot of urgency here. Letting 20 to 25 seconds tick off each time after play. Spady rolling to his left now. And a little bit too high for Nate Walker. Had him wide open on the sidelines, but was unable to get it to him. The only good thing of that is that it stops the clock. 2:48 to go. SNU still at their own 35-yard line, needing to score twice to force overtime here. Down 24-10 against Henderson.
Take a shot. But the only thing that's going to be open is these under routes, because if you're Henderson State, you're just playing deep coverage and you're letting them throw the under route all day.
Spady rolling left, and just not a good pass there. Comes up well short of Reed Roloffs. And brings up 4th and 6 from the 35-yard line, and SNU will obviously go for this. It's not a lot of urgency again. The clock is stopped, though, after the incompletion. As Trey Hills comes on the field, and play clock is down to 5. Again, not a lot of urgency here for SNU. They just get it off. Spady with a quick screen pass to Ramos, and he is taken down on the play. And number 48 for Henderson State, that's Colby Turner, who makes the stop, and that's a turnover on downs for the Crimson Storm, and that should just about do it.
Yeah, one first down is going to seal the deal, but I think it's just about over. They're going to be able to run about as much time as they want off the clock, and SNU still needs 2 touchdowns to make this thing a game.
And SNU kind of in a tough predicament here. There doesn't seem to be a lot of down-the-field options as far as plays go, but that's also asking a lot of a young and on the smaller side offensive line to hold up for those plays to develop. So it appears that the best bet for an SNU passing game is these quick hitters and tunnel screens and things of that nature, and that just hasn't been enough today against this Reddy's defense. Henderson State looking to bleed the rest of this one out. The handoff is to Hall, right up the middle. And a big hit from Marin Biletich there. Not sure if there's a targeting in Division II, but that could have been it.
Pretty close.
Right helmet
yeah,
in
helmet
kisser.
to helmet up, and his arms were not up, but no flag on the play, and they're going to keep playing. Looks like the running back's just fine. So SNU choosing not to take a timeout right here might show you the result of the game on the scoreboard right now.
Henderson State in no hurry as clock ticks under 2 minutes to go. We're 2nd and 2 for the Reddies. The give again is to Hall up the middle, and he bursts through into the secondary. Some hard running here from Quirrell Hall down to the 15-yard line. After the first down, the clock continues to move, and that should just about do it here for this one. As SNU, Henderson State doesn't even need to do anything more than take knees at this point to put this one away.
Yeah, which is surely what they'll do. However, in conference play, you might need those extra points to beat a tiebreaker. So
handoff is to Hall. He bounces it left, bounces off a tackler. Nearly broke away from another tackle from Miles Roll, but was taken down on the play there after a pickup of 6. We're under a minute to go in this one as Henderson State will take this one and move to 2-3 this season. SNU will drop to 1-4 with a very, very, very difficult road matchup at Southern Arkansas next week. Does not get any easier week to week in the Great American Conference. Not any weeks off as Henderson State takes a knee, and that will do it here at SNU Football Stadium. Henderson State will take this one 24-10 over the Crimson Storm. Kind of a tale of two halves, Landry. The first half controlled mostly by the Crimson Storm. The second half controlled entirely by Henderson State. Did you notice any major adjustments from Henderson State in the second half that prevented the success that SNU was able to see in the first half?
Yeah, absolutely. They just put pressure on the quarterback. So when SNU would run, they weren't getting anything. So the box was filled, which we saw in the first half. But then on the pass plays, it seemed as if they had some people bailing, or and there were a couple plays, honestly, that Porter made some good plays with his feet. But enough pressure on a young quarterback will eventually make the quarterback make some poor decisions. And we saw a couple too many today in the second half. And here's the reality, is that SNU can keep this game a lot closer if they don't turn the ball over 2 times in a row in their own red zone. I mean, that's tough.
Absolutely. And Henderson State able to come out with the win, playing in, ultimately a little bit of unconventional ways for them. They came in, tops in the conference in passing offense, over 300 yards per game, but ultimately it was their ability to run the ball in the second half and play some defense, 2 things that have not been their forte this season, that gave the Reddies the win today.
Yeah, absolutely. They did what SNU wanted to do, which is to run the ball well and keep the ball in their offense's hands. And it's tough to play defense and have in the second half more than double the snaps that your offense had.
Take a look at the final stats here for SNU, finishing the game with 206 total yards, but just 70 of those coming after halftime. So a disappointing showing for the SNU offense in the second half after what seemed like a kind of a corner being turned in the first half. 136 yards on the ground for SNU, 96 of those for Gage Porter on 19 carries. Nate Walker, 3 carries, 14 yards. Jacob Spady finished with 12 yards on 7 carries, and Stephen Gordon finished with 8 on 5 carries. SNU easily with its most efficient passing game in a few weeks. 12 of 21 as a team. Gage Porter 6 of 12 with the interception, 40 yards through the air, and Spady 6 of 9 for 30 yards. Reed Roloffs was the leading receiver, 6 catches, 37 yards. Stephen Gordon finished 3 catches, 27 yards. Devin Brady also had 2 catches for 5, and Ramos had 1 for 1 yard as well. The SNU defense did a great job on Stameti through the air. Just 16 of 33 with an interception, 212 yards, and the touchdown to John Murray in the back of the end zone that was deflected by Noah Campbell. So well under Henderson State's average as far as through the air, but over 40 yards over their average on the ground, led by Quirrell Hall's
15 carries, 85 yards, and a score. Cobra Jones, 11 carries, 43 yards, and a score as well. So, you know, allowing Henderson State to run the football really opened things up as far as the SNU defense was concerned, and allowed Henderson State to get some more space for that passing game when they needed it.
Right, and it's just that wear and tear on a defense. You know, first half, the Henderson State's run game was hardly anywhere to be found. In the second half, you know, you just wear a defense down long enough, and those holes are going to start to open up, and that's why we see the somewhat bloated numbers by Henderson today.
And you look at the drives in the second half for Henderson State, the scoring drives, 38 yards, 23 yards, and 9 yards. Kind of the story of the second half for SNU, just allowing them short fields, with the turnovers and the 3 and outs, putting them in easy position to be successful and put points on the board. So a really, really tough loss for SNU, and this looked like to be kind of a get-well game for the offense, given how things shook out statistically with SNU's strengths and Henderson State's weakness. But the Reddies were able to take care of business and come and get a big road win in conference play. And now if you're SNU, you know, you're looking at a very options as far as wins go down the line. You're coming into today 1-3 in conference play. Still have to go to Southern Arkansas, which came into today ranked number 18 in the country. Then in 2 weeks you go to Ouachita Baptist, ranked number 7 in the country to start today. You do have a road game at Northwestern Oklahoma State and a home game against Arkansas Monticello, both 1-3 in conference play so far. Southwestern Oklahoma State is 2-2, and then Oklahoma Baptist also 2-2. So there's still opportunities to get wins, but unless the offense can move the ball, there's not really a lot of hope there.
Yeah, absolutely. The offense has got to find some wiggle room. Got to find ways to get in the end zone more than on. Really, their only touchdown today was on a busted play. So hopefully they can get some things sorted out. Luke, I'm anxious to see who they stick with at quarterback next week.
Yeah, not a lot was solved. You know, you look at the first half and you think Gage Porter's going to take the rest of the snaps the rest of the season, and then the third quarter happens and we see Jacob Spady back in there and lead a fairly solid drive, but through the air and on the ground. And so, you know, tough decisions for Coach Andy Lambert going forward of how to kickstart the offense. There's not a lot you can do with the personnel you have as far as changing schemes, halfway through the season. But it's, certainly a difficult proposition, and one that I'm glad that I'm not in charge of.
Yeah, absolutely.
And when you look at, even the success that SNU had in the first half, they never entered the red zone, and the field goal that Aguiano had, the 42-yarder, that the being down at the 25-yard line was as close as they got to the end zone as far as the offense was concerned, as Porter's touchdown was a 52-yard run. So, not even in the first half, you kind of have to take it with a grain of salt, the success that they saw because of that. So, again, the defense played well, but ultimately was just left out on the field a little bit too long, it seemed.
Yeah, absolutely. You just, it sounds like we've been saying it over and over again, and really we have, but you just can't leave the defense out for that many plays and expect at the end of the game for those holes to not be so porous and provide easy runs and then play action passes for the Reddies, which we saw. So
again, SNU falls to Henderson State 24-10. Second week in a row, the Crimson Storm have lost by a score of 24-10, and they will travel to Magnolia, Arkansas next week to take on Southern Arkansas at 2 o'clock. It will be kickoff time from Wilkins Stadium. They'll be back here at SNU Football Stadium in 2 weeks against Arkansas Monticello. Landry, any final thoughts before we sign off today?
No, I'm anxious to see how they play in the next couple weeks, and hopefully they can right the ship and have a good end of the season.
Well, that will wrap it up for us. For Landry Frakes, I'm Luke McConnell. Thank you for listening today, and we will see you back here in 2 weeks when SNU takes on Arkansas Monticello at 1 o'clock. Thank you, and have a great day.